What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by RaceChip. RaceChip offers plug-and-play performance upgrades for factory turbocharged or supercharged cars. You see, turbo and supercharged cars leave some power on the table from the factory, but they are relatively easy to change once you get those cars home. RaceChip offers a healthy increase in power and torque of up to 30%. Also, better fuel economy. Computers can do that. They have easy plug-and-play installation in 15 minutes, and there are specific manuals and videos available on YouTube. All the engine protection mechanisms remain active because it doesn't actually modify the ECU itself. RaceChip is easy to remove, and after removal, the car is completely stock in its condition again. It's tested and approved by TÜV, that's the German testing authority. They're much stricter than here in America. And there's a 5-year warranty, a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can get control of your car with the RaceChip app, which syncs up to it. You give them a follow over on Instagram at RaceChip Chip Tuning. They say chip twice. It's RaceChip Chip Tuning. That's because it's based in Germany, and in Germany, tuning is called chip tuning. So that's sort of a thing. Hit them up on YouTube and Facebook for daily content, dyno runs, and tests of their product. If you want to increase the power of your car in a healthy way, choose RaceChip for quality made in Germany. Go to racechip.us. That's RACECHIP.us. And in the month of July, RaceChip has a special offer for you. Use code SMOKINGTIRE to get 10% off your order. That's limited to one RaceChip per customer, only the month of July. Racechip.us. Simply faster. That's racechip.us, code Smoking Tire. We got a new one this week. You may have seen them on the gram. It's Nextbase, the world's leading dash cam brand. These cameras are now available in the U.S. Get video evidence of bad drivers, parking lot perpetrators. Don't let dealers get away with hooning your whip. Protect your ride. Plus, we've got life-saving emergency features to protect you and your family. Nextbase cameras give you peace of mind while you drive. Their brand new Series 2 range includes 5 different dash cam models packed with features to meet any driver's budget. We've got stunning image quality up to 1440p, an IPS touchscreen, intelligent parking mode detected, which detects and automatically records any movement around your vehicle while parked. It's like a security camera. Don't worry about parking lot hit and runs. Potentially life-saving emergency SOS features, which might save your life. The auto sync feature uses Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to send video files to your smartphone through the My Nextbase Connect app. And some of these models have built-in Alexa, so you can talk to your dash cam. There's cabin and rear-facing models. There are literally too many features to list in this ad. The full Nextbase Series 2 range is available at Best Buy stores nationwide in the U.S., Canada, online at bestbuy.com, and at amazon.com. Now, here's how you get your discount. Here's the good part. Listeners of this show get 15% off the Nextbase 3322GW with GPS, Wi-Fi, emergency, SOS, intelligent parking mode, and more. Use code, you ready? 15 Nextbase ST. Write it down, folks. The number 15 Nextbase ST. I tried to get him to make it easier, but it was too late. They made it hard. I'm sorry. Ready? 15 Nextbase ST. Buy it on Amazon and get some security in your vehicle with the Nextbase 322GW dash cam. And while we're at it, let's take a jump to the left and talk about shaving. You know, every guy has a buzzer, a beard trimmer. You might trim some other things with it. You never know. I ain't asking and you ain't telling. But everyone owns one, and everyone who's ever had one has a story about a terrible one. One time or 2 times or 10 times where a buzzer lets you down. No more, folks. No more. the Brio Beardscape is here. Here's why it's not going to let you down. It's got a battery life display in minutes, so you know how long you can shave for before the battery dies. Typically, because the battery's huge, it's going to be a very long time and a lot of shavings. I charge my Brio Beardscape once a year. You've got a ceramic blade, which stays sharper longer than stainless steel, and it won't rust, so you don't have to oil it as much. That's helpful. It's got a high horsepower motor, so even if you've got the Habibi beard like I do, it cuts right through that, right through it. And in general, they've got good customer service, so they're there to help out. God forbid your Brio Beardscape fails, they will take care of it. They're good people at Brio. I'm happy to advertise their product. It is a really nice product. I've started giving them away as gifts. I've just been buying them and giving them away as gifts. They're dope. Upgrade yourself, son, to the Beardscape. Go to the website brio4life.com. That's BRIO, the number 4, life.com, and get yourself a Beardscape with code SMOKING. Best price on the internet. Code SMOKING at brio, the number 4, life.com. Lastly, Auto Tempest. You're shopping for cars. Maybe you want to buy. Maybe you want to sell and see what your car's worth. Maybe you're just browsing the market. Here's what Auto Tempest does. It just keeps you from doing double work, right? You got to do work. There's no getting out of work, right? What you never want to have to do is double work. And that just wastes time, and time is money, therefore it wastes money. Got it? Auto Tempest takes all these car sites where all these cars are listed, where people buy and sell, like Cars.com, Cars Direct, Cars Soup, eBay Motors, etc. It brings all the results together into one place. So you don't have to have a zillion tabs open looking through a zillion listings to find the same cars listed 4 or 5 times. It does that work for you. It then compares those results to Auto Trader and Craigslist nationally. No searching city by city and state by state on Craigslist. We're talking national, folks. Auto Tempest makes my life easier. I used it to comp my cars. My SL, when I just sold it, had to price that out, was based on Auto Tempest listings. And being able to bring all those results together is very, very helpful. We love our friends at Auto Tempest, and they've been very good to us. So please, folks, if you're looking for a car, just use Auto Tempest. Just use their service because they support us, and we ask very little in return. Okay, on this episode of the show, keeping it DL, Zack is back from Morocco, where he was doing some drive stuff. I have been traveling, and I'm back in the game. We're keeping it simple. It's just me and Zack today on the show, but it's always a good time. We got lots of live questions from this one. And our shows with me and Zack and the numbers, they do well, so we're going to keep doing those, the guest-less shows. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's do it.
How can you be chairman of a board? It's only one person.
That's how corporations.
Really?
Yeah. I have to. I didn't know that. I have to have like quarterly, like minutes, like meetings and minutes, like for like taxes and shit. This is like what like not like this company, but real companies have to do. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like if you give a shit about being legit, you actually have to have like a board meeting, even if it's just you by yourself in a room.
Whoa!
You record on an iPhone. I am gonna do it with my lawyer. So like me and lawyer sit in a room. Like, okay, these are the minutes. Are there any changes to the corporate structure this quarter? No. Okay, these minutes are approved and endorsed, and that's the whole fucking thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the lawyer's like, here's my hourly.
Like, the lawyer's like, that'll be $175.
Right,
Thank
exactly.
you. And
wow.
Yep. And it's the Smoking Tire motherfucking podcast. Let's just drop in talking about, quarterly minutes for your
chairman of the board.
For your corporation.
Empty boardroom.
We are live on a motherfucking Monday. Boy, does it feel like one.
It does.
Holy shit.
It's a very long one.
Yeah, like July 4th was like on a Wednesday, so it sort of bled into that, but then it like bled over again.
What, the holiday? I left on the 3rd, so I don't know what happened.
But like, I mean, nothing really happened, but like people were kind of on their July 4th bullshit, you know.
Okay.
And like everyone's still kind of in a vacation attitude.
It's like Halloween week.
Yeah, now it's like no more holidays until Labor Day, and by the way, it's hot as balls.
Kind of humid too.
Yeah, get down with us, folks, on the Super Chiznat if you want to talk to us today. Oh, what keys did I program? Fuck.
Home and page up and down.
Oh boy, did I actually? Oh, I can't use page up and page down because they're connected. Look, page up and page down. Oh no, follow me on Instagram. It's the Smoking Tire, of course.
Help us on Instagram.
And the Zack. Follow him on Instagram.
Follow the Zack on
Get
Instagram.
Zack's follower count up.
At fake Zack Clapman.
Fake Zack
Clapman. We'll see if sarcasm works for marketing. I'm thinking not so far.
I'm continuing my quest of trying to find the right fucking hotkeys to switch the keyboard, the cameras with, and I was like, oh, we don't use page up and page down for anything, except if I hit now. So I made that the camera switcher, except it actually scrolls the page. So if I pull up a picture and then hit page down to bring it over to the show, it scrolls down out of the picture. Fuck!
It's like you don't use page down, but Mac does.
Maybe like it's the brackets or I just gotta find a key that I don't do anything for. It's super fucking annoying. Probably the brackets. Like I won't use those.
I don't know why. In the other studio, I was able to just use 1, 2, 3.
Well, but except if you're trying to pull up a fucking window and then you type 1, 2, 3 into the search bar, it changes it. Oh, maybe it's because I make the keys global, which makes them work outside of the program.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not good at computers.
I don't know. Someone comment in the comments.
If you know Wirecast, let us know. I'm not good at computers, but I'm good enough to figure this shit out. I finally figured it out. I talked to JF this morning. I was having an issue. Somebody, I think, was being very nice and made the location, West Side Collector Car Storage, here on Google, like for me. Like they were like, I think they just made it for me. Claimed the location, and then if I recall correctly, they sent me a note saying I did this before anyone else could write something stupid there.
Okay.
That's nice.
Right, like Dildo Emporium or something.
Yeah, something like that. That would just be a hole I'd have to dig out of.
Who would do that?
Yeah, except in their niceness, they wrote the address next door. Like it was supposed to be 6804 South Centinela, and they wrote 6812 South Centinela. And so I had to like go in and hit suggest edit like a bunch of times under like all my different Gmail addresses, and then I was able to actually do it. Like I did it 3 or 4 times, and I waited 2 days, and it didn't change. I was like, "Oh God, you can't get someone on the phone at Google."
No.
So I'm like calling JF, like, "Who do you know?" Hitting up Alex Roy, like, "I got help me. Who's at Google?" But then JF was like, "Crowdsource it. Like, have your people, put out a tweet or whatever. Send them there. Have them do it a bunch of times, and then it'll get fixed real quick." Apparently, that worked for NoHo Sound for Alex's place.
That's a good idea.
And so I had the tab up because I was going to come on this program right now and be like, everybody, go do this right now, except it is now fixed.
It's already fixed. It was like 12 against 2.
Shameless promo for those West Side Collector Car Storage. That's my new business opening late September, early October. The address, 6804 South Centinela, Culver City. And look, they even have a construction photo fairly recent from Google Street View.
It's going up real fast. Like it's like the hole took a year. Like digging
the
the
digging
hole
of the
and getting the
hole.
hole approved.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, it's like.
You know why? Because that's environment. Now because it wasn't clean dirt. It was dirty dirt.
Yeah.
Like environmentally filthy dirt. And so there's disposal. The craziest thing about the dirt was the tilling. Remember the tilling? So the dirt.
Like to plant carrots.
Yes, but like with excavators, like on a much larger scale. Like when they're digging out the basement, they have to get rid of this dirt, right? Now, other contractors need dirt. So like the people who have dirt to get rid of typically just give it to the people who need it.
Okay.
It's a very good system. I have dirt. You need dirt. Just fucking take the shit. So that's typically how the system works, okay? But if the dirt is too wet, okay, no one will take it. In that case, you have to pay $1,000 a truck to get rid of it. And you're talking about hundreds of trucks.
What?
Yeah. So it was cheaper. Get this. It was cheaper to have 2 full-time excavators in the hole, tilling and stirring that dirt with the excavators
to dry it out
for 8 hours a fucking day for 2 weeks, It was cheaper to do that than to pay them to haul the dirt.
Because they just move the dirt around and the water escapes.
They move the dirt around. They can take some of it away during the day. By the end of the day, they can take more. But what's left sits overnight. Dew develops on it. Now it's wet again. You have to start tilling it over and over.
You just pay 8-year-olds like to drive Tonka trucks.
I kind of wanted to do it. I was like, can I cut this guy? Like I have excavator experience.
That's like dig this. That's like that. You're just moving dirt around.
They did let me knock the old building down with the excavator.
That's more fun.
That was fun.
That's way more fun.
That was great because it was a shitty old building. It just went down like paper. I mean, you hit it from the side with the bucket, it was right down.
Wow,
it was a joke.
The bucket's fine because if you hit a really sturdy building, it might.
Now, if you try to knock over my building with a bucket, the excavator would sustain damage.
Right? Yeah,
for
you
sure.
bend a bunch of rods.
Yeah, and we were just over there, me and Armin, and let me get you some recent construction. We'll pull up the.
It's got a roof and shit now.
Yeah, no, me and Armin were over there because I'm doing a 5-part video series about the construction. So video 1 is location and structure. Video 2 is the lifts and power. Video 3, I think, is the finishing of the exterior. 4, I think, is building the podcast studio and the interior of it, and then 5 is the grand opening, I think. So that's that's like a thing we're doing.
And that'll all be on the website, I assume, like links to it.
No, they're going to like Smoking Tire videos. Yeah. And also, if people want to see more, then Larry on the Ammo channel, he did a really cool like a walk around video that has actually gotten me a couple of customers. So if you got parking or if you got cars on the west side of LA and you need to stick them somewhere, I got you covered. Anyway, Zachary, that's my spiel. Zach was in fucking Morocco.
I was. I feel like I'm not jet lagged. I'm like adrenaline dump tired because it was like 7 days of just hanging. Like Google Maps doesn't work in Morocco all the way. It will show you the map, but it doesn't do turn by turn. So
is that because of like expensive data plans, or just doesn't work?
Just doesn't work. Like data worked there, sort of. Although 4 bars there is 2.5 here. But it would show you the map, but then you'd have to hit next on everything. So
when your Google Maps is like MapQuest.
It was MapQuest, so you're driving a car while using MapQuest while reading street names you can't pronounce.
Oh, bro!
While jockeying with horses and bicycles.
This is going to sound very ignorant. Do they use Arabic alphabet?
They use both.
Like, so the street names are written in letters you can understand.
Yes, and also letters I can't understand.
Right, but it's not like, when we went to Dubai or you go to Tokyo and it's like you literally can't read a thing.
It wasn't like that. Yeah, that would be very bad. Because there's 1, 2, 3. There's like 3 languages there. There's Arabic, French, English is becoming pretty common, and then Berber, which is like the original language before Arabs moved in, and their characters look like not quite hieroglyphics, but close, like block letters of Arabic. I don't know. So you look at the signs and you have to basically scroll down with your eyes, and you're like, nope, can't read that. Nope, can't read that. Oh, there's English, and then you kind of understand. But you're looking down, you look at the map, you're looking at the bicycle, you don't want to hit the guy who has a donkey with a cart, and then you want to make sure that you get through this light, but the lights you can't really see. You know what they do that's wrong? Their stoplights are right next, when you get to the line to go across an intersection, the stoplight is slightly behind you. So
wait, what? Oh, they don't move it
it's not
up
It's
enough?
not across the street.
Oh,
it's on your side. So you basically have to wait until you hear the engine behind you start to accelerate or honk, and then you know that your light is green.
Who decided that was a good idea?
I don't know. I don't think they've had tarmac that long.
Just on these images, it looks quite beautiful.
Where's the...
I don't know where this is. SOREA. I don't know. I clicked random Google images.
That is
were you in
pretty.
not a pretty... Were you in the
No,
not
we were
part?
in Casablanca, which... The parts we were in were not that pretty. It's like, it's a big city. It's been there for a long time. It's been taken and retaken by various countries. And, like in World War II, it was a German-controlled country briefly, and then it was Allied. And then it was like, I don't know. It's had a lot of history of people kind of showing up and setting up camp. And I think Morocco's like, what the fuck, man? We just want to go to sleep and make some tagine. That's really pretty.
That is really
I don't know.
pretty.
They have some really gorgeous like mosque architecture that's been there for 1,000 years. It's old. It's they have a market there we went to that had been there for 1,000 years, like at least. And
Yeah,
people
that's
every day
my
selling
favorite thing
shit.
about going to Europe or any of that part of the world is that the traditions are so old. You know what I mean? Like anything you do has like been done for like thousands of years or hundreds of years at least. It's like old things are something we miss so much in California.
Well, what's weird there is that you have people that are living the same life that has probably been lived there for 1,000 years. Like literally their house is a hut that they made out of mud and stone, but they have a DirecTV satellite dish on top. And like they drive a donkey to work and a Range Rover drives by.
The presence of DirecTV.
Like electricity showed up and the first thing they got was television.
Of course. When me and Thad went to the part of Oman that like people don't go to, like people go to Muscat, and I just watched I was on the elliptical yesterday and watched the parts unknown of Muscat, and it looked awesome. I was like, fuck, I wish I went here. But me and Thad went to like the part that's like being in the Bible, except for the presence of some mid-90s Lexuses and DirecTV.
Isn't it strange? Like, but you see people who are basically neighbors and they're passing each other with transportation that's separated by 1 to 1,000 years. Right? Like, what is Steve thinking when John drives by in a truck? He's like, oh, wait, how did you get that? What is
probably either like extreme jealousy or like no interest, just wants to do it the old way.
Just doesn't care.
Yeah,
I think we got a lot of we got looks, we got smiles from people on donkeys. We got don't care looks.
You were there for Drive on NBC Sports.
That's right.
We're just taping because you have part of my old job.
I didn't have your old job on this particular one.
Oh, you weren't hosting?
This was Chris, Alex, and Spin.
This was
Spinelli.
This was Alex has my old job on that one.
And he's a worldly man.
Replacement
so
bald man. Hannah and I saw Alex in New York City recently. Randomly, we were there for a minute, and we were staying at the Standard across the street from his place. And I texted him like, "Are you home or across the street?" And he was at the gym, and he came over, having just done what I can imagine was cardio at the gym, and he was in full sweatpants and like real sweaty. And it never occurred to me how much Alex's wardrobe that I typically see him in affects how I perceive his body type. And when you put that motherfucker in sweatpants, he is a whole different human. That you look like Pitbull thing is gone when he's in sweatpants.
I've never seen him in normal clothes.
Yeah, make him put on some sweatpants next time you're around. Be weird as fuck.
I'm afraid to, knowing him.
Super weird. Hannah was like, "Is that Alex? I don't even recognize him." It was really bizarre.
Yeah, he was always like scarves and leather jackets and very fashionable. He's got white pants on to get dirty immediately.
Yeah, it's like Carmen Electra, new wardrobe, completely new person.
He wore white jeans. And our very first coffee stop in Seville spills coffee on it, and he gets mad at like the coffee and gravity. Like this wasn't on camera, so I'm not divulging story, but he was just like so angry in this gas station cafe, and we're just like, "You did this.
Yeah, you had 45 years to learn how clumsy you are."
Yeah, it's like he hadn't screwed a lid on his coffee well enough, and he was just so mad. We're like, "Dude."
Wait, so you can't give away even the general premise of the bit? This is a random place to go.
Well, the general premise is Morocco is very close to Europe, and people probably don't realize that you could do a road trip down there and back. Like you can take a ferry from Spain
across
to Morocco, across
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, and be driving there in a few hours, and you're on a new continent, totally new culture. Like,
do they drive on the right or the left?
They drive on the right.
Okay.
They drive the same as Spain, which is good because as you know, we've driven from like England to France.
That God help you if you have a right-hand drive fucking car going across
left-hand drive or a right-hand drive country. Oh. It's real bad. Yeah. So we did like a 2-day trip from Spain, drive down to.
So the point of the bit was like, did you know you could drive from Spain to Africa? All right, that's pretty rad. These bits do not need to be complicated, people. 3 funny people, 3 good cars. Can you say what the cars are?
Yeah, they were on Instagram. Alex had a Renault Kangoo, which we don't get here.
The fuck is
which
that?
Some people be mad about, and they shouldn't.
How do you spell that?
Kangoo.
Kangoo.
Yeah.
It's just Kangoo?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Really? This? The cargo van?
Yeah.
That? Really?
Yeah.
This hunk of shit? Oh, my God. Why is it? Did you just rent cars and it was whatever you guys could rent?
No, this is a press car.
This is a press car?
Yeah.
Was it? What was the qualifications? Was it literally what the host wanted to be driving?
No, it's there's 3 different ways you could do a trip like this. So Alex was going to go and He's been there before, so you want to be a little more stealth.
Okay.
Chris drove a Ranger Raptor, the one with the diesel, the European truck.
Wait, speaking of Ranger Raptor, we're getting that here?
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
here now, right?
I don't think they've had the U.S. launch. They just had the global launch, which was in Morocco like a month ago.
Okay.
But I think based on all the reviews I saw, everyone was driving the diesel. They haven't launched it with whatever we're going to get here yet.
Because
so we don't know.
Hennessy, I think, is doing a fast one.
Well, Hennessy built a Hennessy Raptor where they put the V8.
Well, that's the full. No, that's the full size
thing.
one. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
and he's sending that out to L.A. I think I get to have a go in it, alongside the. Have you seen the Goliath he did? It's the 6x6 he does.
Yeah.
The Goliath is a 6x6 Chevy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
basically. That's
I thought it was gonna be like a 12x12.
No, it's a 17 by 7. Remember that limo, the world's longest limo?
With the one with the helicopter pad and the hot tub in it and stuff.
Yeah, but do you remember how many steering wheels it had?
It was like 6. Or,
Like,
I don't know. It was 6.
Yeah, look. Here it is.
There's no way this ever drove anywhere. Like
It did drive somewhere.
on a runway and forth?
It did drive, but all 6 of these front wheels turned. In fact, this is what it looks like now. It's very sad.
Oh my
God. Yeah.
Did it go to the ocean?
Someone found it, and
it's had all the wheels stolen.
It did.
See, is that an accordion?
This
limo?
one has This one is another one that has like a bend in it.
Well, you need the bend. There's no way this was
has
able
a
to turn
bend
on
in
any
it. No, this has a bend in it.
Oh, it does?
Right there, right behind the
so
main.
it's basically a semi truck.
Yeah, fundamentally.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's rotting away now.
Wow, we got crazy for. I mean, we're still crazy, but man,
yeah, it's rotting away.
I remember seeing that in Guinness Book of World Records.
Totally. Okay,
Ridiculous.
so Chris drove a Ranger Raptor. Was it pretty cool?
Yeah. It's what you expect. I mean, I was around like the new Ranger FX4. It's a good
the
truck.
Ranger Raptor, it should be all the things you like about a Raptor in a manageable size. Perfect.
Yeah. I drove it to like the mall in Marrakesh once, and I was very glad to not have an F-150 because I would not have fit anywhere.
You think it'd be a good LA car?
Yeah.
Pretty good LA car.
Yeah.
Is it it's not too big for LA, you think? Is it the same size as the Ranger you had, pretty much?
It's it's like that truck. It's a little bit wider. It's got a wider track.
Yeah.
So parking in a narrow spot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a truck. It's still a truck.
Could be
and it's still wider. But I don't know. We can talk more about it off camera. I don't want to get yelled at.
No, you don't have to give.
You
You don't have to give me like everything. I just want to know like if it'd be a fucking rad LA.
I thought the Ranger FX4 was good. I think I'm really happy that this size truck is returning.
Yeah.
It's not just Tacoma. And I think all the offerings have a lot of merit from Chevy and from Ford. They also, they have
I haven't
a
really
couple
driven
cons
any
too, but I think it's just, when I've driven both the Ranger and the Canyon, I was like, this is all the truck I need. There are people that need more than that, but I think a lot of people could be perfectly happy, and you can park better, you can get around, all that stuff.
The problem with trucks is, for a lot of people, it becomes dick measuring.
True.
It really does.
True. I mean, when we were in...
That's my wife calling me.
We were in
Actually,
Texas
my phone
for a gig.
was on vibrate, but it's Bluetooth to the computer, and that's a problem.
Well, we were in Texas for this shoot recently, and it was oil country, so it was just platinum F-250 Super Duties, like lifted, truck nuts, all of that. And
those are called economy cars.
Didn't see exactly. Oh, the 250. Oh, you got the Eco. Did not see like any Rangers, any small trucks. It was just big,
dude.
big.
In Texas, all they have is space.
I know.
I mean, they have like huge parking spaces, huge parking lots. There's, who cares down there?
True. And we've talked about this before, that like those people work really hard and make good money, and the town we were in was just like, you go there to work. There's nothing nice about it, really. So you're nice at the thing you spend a lot of time in is your truck, and so if you want to reward yourself for your hard work, like that's what you can do.
It's location based. Yeah. I drove that Ram 1500 like a month and a half ago.
That was nice.
And the time I spent in it was really nice. It was comfortable. It had a crazy amount of features. It was really easy to use. It's heated and cooled seats and the big like iPad like screen and so much radar cruise control, but like so many features, height adjustable suspension, like the kind of shit you would get in a pretty high end German SUV.
Yeah, good point.
You'd have to buy like a GLE 450 with like the tech pack, to get all the shit you got in this Ram.
How much was that Ram that you drove?
69.7.
Wow, I thought it'd be more than that.
You could probably get it even more if you wanted to, because
What would you need?
No, I can't possibly
Super
fathom.
Dude,
no, this was
Cummins.
a 1500 Laramie. That sound right?
Does I edited that video?
It's
too.
the middle one. I think it was Laramie. It's the middle one. There's one above it that's like the super blinged out one. But point is, driving it on the open road, it was comfy, and I was like, shit, this is a lot of value for what you're paying for here. But then I got home to Venice, and I went, I literally can't get this in my garage, and I have to drive around for 30 minutes to find somewhere to park it. It's just too big for a city.
Totally, yeah, and I think that's fine. I think everybody knows that, and people move here with trucks. They probably sell them really quickly.
Yeah, I see a lot of them parked in the street though.
I was at Tesla picking up a press car for a different episode, and this guy was talking to a salesman walking out, and he was like, I just moved in here from Montana. I had an F-250, but I don't want to drive around here. Obviously, it was like that exact sentence happened in front of my eyes.
Yeah. Tesla would make a nice LA runaround car.
Of course. I mean, in his case, any car would be better than a truck.
Any car that's not a giant truck. What the fuck else is going on? So, all right. So back to Morocco. Is it the kind of place I want to go visit? Do I want to go on a vacation there?
It would be really cool.
Yeah?
It would be really cool. They do a lot of off-road motorcycle tours there, and I totally
like BMW
get why.
GSs?
Yeah, like the big GS things, because saffron is grown there. You can go to the Saffron Valley, which we didn't get to go to, but that's the most expensive thing in the world by weight, and it's delicious, and you can just go to the valley. So I think if you do the off-road trips, you could really see a lot of the country, go to the amazing mountains, get to see the landscape like that. We got a taste of it in some of the mountains, and it's the people are super welcoming, incredibly friendly, just really nice people, and then the mountains are very imposing, and on the other side of them is the Sahara Desert. So it's an interesting landscape that people have had to fight really hard to stay alive in, and
these would be the Atlas Mountains.
Yeah, Atlas Mountains run across three
Very
countries,
pretty.
I think, north to south, and the Sahara Desert is on the eastern side of them. I think if you did if you took some kind of car or motorcycle that could do comfy on road and basic fire road stuff off road, you'd probably have a fucking awesome trip.
Yeah, Jeeps.
Jeep would be great.
Jeep Grand Cherokee.
We did a lot. There's a lot more highway. I think they've just built some big toll roads that are real smooth, real fast, all that stuff. A new Jeep actually would be very good, or a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee would be awesome. But it's I don't know. People are just they're so nice. They're so nice there.
It's just one of those places where everyone's a little more chill, or is it just because they want to show off the culture to what they think are American TV people, or
That's a good question. I did wrestle with that. When you go to a place where where tourism is
I'm not
the biggest
suggesting
industry.
ulterior motives, by the way, but I just mean if they see a film crew, hey, come, check my shit out.
No, I think even at gas stations we didn't have cameras out or stuff. Just people seem like they're in a good mood.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But I want to do the same thing. If you're in a country that's built on tourism mostly, they may be friendlier because they know they could possibly benefit. Someone will try to sell you something all the time in the most random place. I found a lost puppy in the middle of a mountain, a very young dog.
An actual lost puppy.
I pulled over, I got water, I was wondering what to do with this dog I found, and this guy pulls over on a scooter, and in my I'm using a Google Translate for French, and I was like, "Oh, is this your dog?" And he's just like, "No," and then he opens the compartment to his scooter and just takes out beads and starts holding them out. I'm like, "Dude, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this dog in the middle of a shoot," and he's just like, "Yeah, that's nice. What do you think of these things?"
Oh God, yeah. Well, can't get away. You can't get away from that.
You could grab your average Marrakesh market salesman, bring him here. You'd have your entire collector car storage filled in a day.
Come down here, my friend.
Oh, they're friendly and aggressive.
It looks very beautiful. May have to add this one to the list.
It was really cool. I've never been to a Muslim country. I've never been to anywhere in Africa before. I know this is just a touch of it in the north. It's very
aren't they
different.
pretty? Again, I'm a little ignorant here, but isn't Morocco a little milder in its Muslimness officially?
what's the scale where it's like they're not like Saudi Arabia, I guess. Like some,
Yeah,
I guess yes. Some women were fully covered up in
Yeah.
burqas, but I saw some women dressed
normally
like they'd be dressed here.
Oh, so I would
Like,
say that that's a little
pretty
less
fluid.
hardcore.
It is. A friend of mine, a woman, she did one of the motorcycle tours and said it wasn't. She got a lot of looks, like being a blonde woman just dressed as she was. Like she got some kind of condescending looks, but
Not
I don't know.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some old school people there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's people that are electing to take donkey on highway. You know, like,
that guy's doing that voluntarily. The
Yeah,
donkey's
for sure.
probably more expensive than a car at this point.
it might be. I bet it is.
I bet you buying a donkey is more than buying a cheap car.
It was fascinating just to see. Like there are people that would walk. Let's say the distance between two cities would be like 100 miles, but in between that distance there would be towns made of mud, rock, whatever, and they'd have sheep and stuff, and people would just walk to the highway and then walk along the highway and just hope to get picked up because they don't have transportation that will get them 89 miles. So you're doing 80 miles an hour on the highway and people are just walking along, like sometimes on the white line, and they're acting like cars don't exist. They're just super casual, and meanwhile
I remember being in Dubai and they had highway sweepers. They literally had dudes in orange vests. They look like Pakistani guys, maybe Kazakhstani guy, like part of that sort of region, in vests, hand brooms, sweeping the shoulders of highways like 20 fucking miles outside Dubai.
What?
It was
Is that because
wild.
the sand creeps up on the highway so much?
Yes, and it's also because it's illegal to not have a job in Dubai. You have to have a job to live there. Unemployment
Okay.
is illegal.
Oh.
And so there is no job that is too shitty or demeaning so they have people that just sweep the highways.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real weird.
I mean, I've seen
you
photos
would
where
drive by
like
them at 80 miles.
sand dunes creep up on highways in a big way. Like that could be a serious
No, you're
problem.
talking about a huge sand dune?
Yeah.
Oh, that does happen, like, yes, but like it's more just like
Oh, okay.
the dust
This
of
is
it.
just like, let's keep the highway clean. We need this person to have a job. Okay.
your daily dirt accumulation.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not sweeping like a giant dune.
I think Larry Chen had a photo series he did like down in Glamis, and the dune had like encroached on the 2-lane road halfway. Like,
could
whoa.
happen.
I don't know how you clear that off, like snowplow.
Speaking of off-roading, I can talk about the SHERP finally.
Yeah.
I fucking drove this thing at the end of March, and I haven't been able to talk about it forever because the story came out in Road and
You know what we
Track.
should start doing is when you do that, we should just record the segment
No,
and just store it.
bloop and do the old DJ just press play move.
Yes. Anyway,
Oh, I can probably play our video, as a matter of fact, because it's our fucking video.
probably we
I
won't.
can
We
play
will
my-
not submit our own
I
copyright.
can play my
infringement.
own video. Let's find it. Oh my god, I can't find my own video. So the SHERP is a Russian-designed, Ukrainian and Canadian assembled off-road vehicle. It's almost not even a car. It's kind of a car. It's sort of a tank.
Yeah.
Although it's not actually armored. It's amphibious. The hull itself is made of steel and floats, and it looks like it's floating on the tires, but it doesn't need the tires to float at all.
It's a boat with wheels.
It's a boat with wheels, or it's a truck that floats, and it's you can drive it on basically anything. There's really not anything you can't drive over.
You said it'll drive over a K-rail.
Yeah, and what I mean
That's
by that
amazing.
is you can approach a Jersey barrier perpendicular, a solo one.
Yeah.
Drive up it and down the other side of it.
That's
Just
amazing.
a vertical wall. Because like when they talked about Hummers being able to climb a 3-foot wall, they meant flat, up, flat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they mean by that. This is flat, up 4 inches down. You know
It's
what
like
I mean?
a spine. It'll go
Yeah,
over
it'll
that.
go over
That's
a
amazing.
3-foot tall spine. The rear is sort of configurable. This is kind of a basic cargo transporter configuration, but people who have bought these things have outfitted them as like, camper type rigs. You can get a little like a stove that will run on, diesel or whatever the fuck they run on, and central tire inflation system, and then these are hubs in the wheels can be filled with either fuel or water.
Okay, I had a question about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you fill it with diesel first, you're never going to want to fill it with water, I assume. Like, you got to kind of choose. Like,
they sell, it said diesel on it. They sell like a water one and a diesel
cool.
one. Yeah.
That's so smart.
Yeah, so these are in the hubs here.
It looks,
and unlike the Hummer with the central tire inflation that was on a compressor, this has a diverter valve in the engine exhaust. So you hit a valve, hit the gas, and it fills the tires with the engine exhaust.
Whoa.
That's how you can get that much volume of tire
pretty quickly too.
Pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna show. So here we're driving down the road, and you drive it tank style, so it's got 2 levers, and each of those levers is a brake. It then has 3 pedals that are the same as a car.
It's like a piano.
Brake, clutch, and a shifter. So no steering wheel, right?
Okay.
So you're driving stick.
Weird.
It's a 5-speed. And then to steer, you tug one of the levers. And if you have to like emergency brake, you can tug both levers. But usually it's geared so low that you slow down just by lifting off the throttle, and it slows down like really fast.
Is there any way you would overheat the brakes by like doing lots of maneuvers? I mean, I guess you're going so slow that would never really happen, huh?
No, you're going so slow it wouldn't happen with the brakes. And also, each lever is a 2-stage lever. So if you want to make a more gradual turn, you tug the lever like 2 inches, and it just declutches one side and overdrives the outside. And then if you tug it 2 more inches, it engages the actual brake and turns tighter.
Oh, very smart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So here in this video, I'm about to make a right-hand 90-degree turn into the snow. I go down. Oh, whoops! You cut away because I was talking about something very cool, like driving into a frozen lake where anyone else would die. This video just shows us driving off of an ice shelf into a frozen lake.
And you tip off to the right, which is definitely more scary than just like nosing in, I feel like. Jeez.
Yeah, so here we're driving it out onto about 8 inches of snow. And I drove through this bog a couple times, so I'm driving over my own tracks. And we drive basically here straight into an icy bog. Now this is about 4 or 5 feet of water, slushy, icy water with a 20 to 30 foot soft mud base under it. So if you attempted to drive any land car into this, it would first sink through the water and then it would disappear into the mud.
Whoa.
Like a human would survive minutes in this. And so the SHERP is designed to rescue other stupid people that are too dumb to not know to go places. So you can go get people out of frozen lakes and stuff in a SHERP. So you can't really hear it because I have the video muted. Wait here. And you can kind of hear it go, and I'm crunching through that top layer of ice.
Yeah, you can see it. The water has like a texture to it. It's clearly frozen a little bit. How loud is it in that thing?
You know, it's sort of like driving a tractor. It's louder than a car, but it's not like deafening.
Can you wear like a headset or something and just
you don't need to wear a headset.
Oh, okay.
You can drive around. Like if you had a stereo, you could play it. Like it's got a little 4-cylinder diesel motor that's like sort of well insulated underneath behind your seats. You could have a normal conversation.
Is more of the noise just from the tread interacting with the ground?
In general, there's noise. There's engine and powertrain noise, and when you're going through this icy sheet,
it's such an amazing, ridiculous idea.
But so this bog, like I'm driving around 100% aimlessly. I don't have a trail picked out. I'm like, I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go right. And it literally doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I'm going to put up a bonus video. Did you delete the footage? You still have the footage?
I think I do.
You still have it? Don't delete it because I deleted mine. You got okay. But we have a bonus video of Josh showing me their obstacle course where we drive over the K-rail, we drive over the pipe, we drive over like some cars. That's a bonus video. And then I had some other video of it going into the actual water. And I have video of it knocking down trees. You can knock down a 4-inch diameter tree. You just drive into it. It's awesome.
It just seems bored by everything you throw at it.
So that's it makes everything you do seem so ridiculously easy that it's very easy to forget the fact that if you attempted it in any other vehicle whatsoever, you die.
Wow.
And
like, what would you? What circumstance would you need to buy one of these? Like, would you have to live?
So
like, if you're a ranch in Minnesota where it's cold, I bet they do. I bet they sell like
and he
hotcakes.
sells them. They sell them to some real heavy hitters,
Of course.
And they sell, So for me, like, I would probably, if I had like Ralph Lauren, that sick ranch and Telluride, like there, I would use it there. I would use it for snow exploration. Like, I would try and find, like, if I lived like near a big ski mountain or something, I'd try and find a way that let me drive it around the mountain at night or something. I mean, this dude Josh, he the guy who's in the vehicle with me here, we're on his property. He owns, like, I don't know, 600 acres, and he made his own course, and it's sick. And he just goes and fucks around and knocks over some trees and drives over some
E-Garage
cars.
did a story on this guy that does, like, Canadian mountain rescue, and I think he had, like, a six-wheeled craziness thing. Like, this would be perfect for that.
And the dudes who designed these Sherps drove them across Russia without using any roads. And it carries, it's got such a small engine, the range is 2,800 miles before fill up. So it's 8 hours a day for 10 days.
That's across the United States. That's the Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Without stopping.
Yeah. Without roads.
And
without stopping,
how
without
big
roads.
is the engine? Like
44 horsepower Kubota diesel, turbo diesel.
That's amazing.
It's small. It doesn't use any.
What does it weigh? Because it looks heavy, but it's not, right? Because the shell is fiberglass steel.
No, the shell's aluminum,
Okay.
and the lower half of it is steel. The wheels are the heavy. Wheels and tires, they're fucking heavy. He told me at one point, but I don't. Hundreds of pounds.
I mean, yeah, but they can't be. They can't be more than like 5, I guess.
No,
because the whole thing's 2,800. That's
no,
amazing.
they're probably like 350 or something pounds.
It's lighter than it looks because it looks so stout, burly.
Yeah, but it's not very
industrial.
big. Like, I don't really. Hang on, let me get the road and track.
That's true. You guys are shoulder to shoulder.
Look, I'll show you some other photos. There's a picture. Dave Burnett. How do I get to the gallery? Will this open the gallery? Oh, this is just the gallery. All right, hang on. Let me zoom in. This Dave Burnett is the best. Puppy Knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
He shot these, and these are just the jam.
At Puppy Knuckles on Instagram.
Yes, follow him.
Really good photos.
Here's how you get in. You get in from the front,
so
which
cool.
actually, I don't have a lot of complaints about this thing. It's almost perfect for the thing that it's meant to do. I wish you could get in it without getting dirty, because you have to climb up this little fucking thing to get in it, and unless you're climbing into a perfectly clean Sherp, you almost certainly get dirty getting into it.
Wait, what do you mean? How?
Like, your pants will brush the thing, or like
Oh, because
you
the
can't-
outside of it's gonna be all gross.
You just can't get into it cleanly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, maybe if you are very athletic and can do a big hop up here, but like, I could get in and out of it fine, but I couldn't get out of it without getting dirt all over my pants.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
like,
well, you wear like,
but like, look, it's pretty comfortable and clean in here. Like,
Yeah.
granted, that's a bit of a bitchy gripe for off-road exploration, but like, if you're gonna be, living out of this thing for like a week, you don't want to be tracking a bunch of dirt into it.
on the other hand, if you're because you don't need roads, you could just set the throttle and then go in the back and like hand wash your clothing and then just like.
Here's a good size
what's top
comparison.
speed? Like 30 miles an hour?
30, yeah. So here's two of them in a shed with a military Hummer next to it. So they have about the same footprint as an H1 Hummer,
Whoa.
but they're a lot taller.
I mean,
They're
they
not
look bigger
that
just
big.
because of the tire size.
No,
but
yeah,
they're not.
they're tall and they're like chunky, but they're not physically. Look, I mean, me standing next to it, it's not that big.
Wow.
I love these shots that Dave took of it, just like crawling out of this.
It
Fucking
just goes
wall.
anywhere. It really
Yeah.
goes anywhere.
Yeah, you just drive into a river.
I mean,
drive
that's
into a lake. Drive into the ocean. Doesn't
Pretty
matter.
incredible that you can
It's
just turn
amazing.
left, turn right, go straight, whatever.
Yeah. And it's really well thought out, actually. Like everything is accessible from inside. So if you're floating on a lake or whatever, and it breaks down, you fix everything from inside. You don't have to go under it to get. Imagine you had to go under it to get something where
you'd
you're
be in big trouble.
floating. So nothing. It has no exposed running gear outside underneath.
So what is the seal like then? Like if you open the hatch to see the engine, I assume there's a hatch or a cover of some kind, almost like a van. Can you see water there,
I'll show you where
is
it
that sealed?
No. It's sealed. Wait, like here's. So I don't have do I have a picture of it? I don't know. So it's behind the seat.
Okay.
Like it's this. Like you can just sort of see it a little bit. Like here, it's
Right.
this. It's right behind the seats, and you just take this thing off, and there's the engine.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
it's like
it's totally
it's like the
accessible.
Previa.
Yeah. It's like a
Wow.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing.
So it's fucking so cool. They're 120 grand, which I think is almost comically cheap for what you're getting. I think you could sell them for 250 grand and you would lose 0 customers. Wow. Honestly.
I mean, considering what they can just do anything.
Yeah. But their main goal is to sell them to like cold weather search and rescue, like government. Like EMS and, up in Alaska or, glacier rescue or whatever, like, the ice fishing rescue.
Well, like Iceland,
stuff.
all the balloon tire cars out there, that's what they're for. So this might,
Yeah. So they have sold a bunch to stuff like that. And then also like, hunting trips, overlanding, expeditioning, shit
Dude,
like that.
how cool would it be to make a video of this versus Iceland truck?
Oh.
Like,
Which would you ship to the other place? Is the question.
that's a great point. I bet someone in Russia has built an Iceland truck. like,
Iceland
ordered
is the kind
kit.
of place where you could just show up and drive this around on the street and no one would really say anything.
Oh, for sure. But shipping it there, which we had to do 2 years ago, was
Here's
not
the
easy.
inside of it. These are the chain drives, so they're chain driven.
Okay.
And apparently these chains are like 4 times the thickness they actually need to be. And then here's your engine with your
brake caliper.
Those are the clutches and the brakes to disconnect each side. Right, your 2 chains, and then the levers that disconnect them.
2 chains.
2 chains.
They should buy one of these.
2 chains should have one.
What an
Pretty
incredible,
fucking rad, huh?
weird idea. But yeah, it's so cool. I mean, of course, the video that went viral was like 2 years ago where thing just drove into a lake and then started paddling.
I mean, when I first saw that video,
Jesus.
I was like, well, that sold me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Josh, the dude who sells these things, he felt the same way. When he saw that video, he hit them up in Russia and was like, hey, how do I become the North American distributor for this thing? And there's apparently a couple other people that can also sell them in America, but he's the only one who's got the test track.
Smart. Yeah.
All you got to do is say, come on up and drive one. And you let someone do what I did. And if they have the money and they think they might want one, like if you watch that video and you have the money, you should just fucking buy one. You don't even need to go up there. But I guarantee you, if you show up there and he lets you drive that thing for a half hour, you are buying one.
Wow.
There's no way you wouldn't, because it is so ridiculously fun and easy, and it opens a world of exploration that is completely impossible for many other types of off-roading.
So how low can you drop the PSI on the tires?
So full, when they're fully full, that's 3 PSI.
When they're full, it's
when they're
3?
fully full, it's 3. When you drop them down, it's measured in like millibar. It's measured in millibar.
Okay.
So thousandths of a bar. So if I remember correctly, low was like 80 to 100 millibar, and full was 150 or something, 200 millibar. I don't remember the numbers, but it was in.
But it's low and down very low.
It's in
basically
millibars.
It's flat and then low.
And there's no suspension. The only suspension is the tires.
That's why it's 3. Okay.
Yeah, and so how you adjust those tires really does affect the performance of the truck.
Can you just crawl over powder like if the snow full? Because then you drop it down low and the footprint gets really big,
You
right?
can go through. They said they drove it through 8 feet of powder once.
Because it just floats on top,
Right on
for
top.
sure. That's incredible.
Because you also then have the benefits of the bottom side of it acting like a hull. Like
that's
a boat.
very, very helpful
Yeah,
compared
the
to
snow
Iceland
isn't going to
trucks.
get stuck in
Yeah.
there. It just glides across
You won't high
it.
center, really. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You can't high center it. You
That's
can drive
awesome.
over a Jersey barrier. You can't high center it.
Yeah.
We drove over, one of the things we drove over was a huge pile of logs. Like, imagine cutting down a bunch of trees and then just throwing all those logs onto a big pile. And the logs are like, 2 feet diameter. And we just drove up and over that pile. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a weird. I don't know. It's impressive. It's really impressive.
Super impressive.
Someone had an idea and then made it, but like, what a strange
Yeah,
idea.
and something is always got to give, right? And what has to give here is
Well,
the low top speed and the fact that unless you have a farm or some type of industrial application, you can't register it for the street.
Right.
But he had it.
Its slalom speed is dog shit too.
When he brought it out to the lake, though, he didn't drive it on the street. He has a single car open trailer. And he just drove it onto that.
Oh, so it fits on a single car trailer?
Yeah.
What's the overhang?
It's a custom trailer.
Okay.
It's a SHERP trailer. I don't know if it comes with its standard, but you can get it. But it's the size of a single car trailer. It just has certain notches for the unique wheelbase. But it's the size of a regular trailer, and he towed it behind an F-150. No big deal.
It's not heavy. It's
No.
like 2,800 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was dope. It was way cooler than any other off-road toy I have ever seen in my life. Way cooler. Maybe
Well,
Ken Block's fucking tank treaded razor thing he's got is pretty
That
cool.
looks pretty fun.
That looks pretty fun.
But this is a totally unique idea for a problem that not many people have versus here's like even an Unlimited King of Hammers buggy, which
Yeah.
are amazing and capable, are still a thing we know, which is like a car or a Jeep, and they put really amazing parts on them. But this is a new solution.
It answers a question I don't think a lot of people asked, but it is so what it does is so cool, and it does it in such a unique way. Like I think this is one of the most photogenic vehicles on the planet in its own way. It's not necessarily pretty, but it definitely has a face.
It does.
It definitely has a personality. That's an Iron Man mask face right there.
Yeah, but it's like an Iron Man puppy, and I don't know. It's like there's like a sense of humor about it, and it looks tough
Yeah.
because it's all stubby and short. And
Yeah.
so it's cool.
I want to find, and the guy who invented this thing is apparently a fucking crazy Russian, and apparently has this.
What?
And I am not fucking around. This is the guy's personal SHERP that invented this fucking thing, and he is driving it around the world. And it's a 10 by 10 SHERP. It's a SHERP that is a standard one, but with a full interior that is towing a remote SHERP trailer that's powered and like, dude, look at
Oh,
this.
it has its own engine?
Oh yeah, look at all this shit. It's not just a trailer. It's got its own power. Look where this fucking thing is going.
Whoa. This is not for people listening, he's very off trail. There is no trail.
This is a boulder field.
That is
He's
a-
driving across a boulder
That
field.
is a boulder field. That's a cliff kind of thing leading to a lake.
Here he's in the water.
Jeez. Well, he's towing another SHERP behind his 10 by 10 SHERP. Wow.
Isn't this guy the most?
Is he going? What is it? Latitude around the world?
I don't know.
He's following Ewan McGregor's line.
He's
but it's
just. I mean, where isn't he
Wow.
going to go? How do you not want that?
yeah, that's so cool.
10 by 10, dude. And what I really like about these, it's got two separate heaters. It's got one of those like turbine kind of heaters. It's like a RC jet aircraft kind of heater.
Okay.
Like I think it's called a Webasto or something. And so you can run, your heat and your electronics and stuff without the engine being on. So you can live in it off the standard fuel tank.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Isn't
clever.
that the best?
Yeah, you want that separate system. Wow.
So here's it going on the trailer.
Look at the tire.
And that's how you you get flat.
Well, that's loading it. Is that a SHERP trailer? Or is that
Oh,
just
and here's this is the dude's like Josh's like nephew's lifted at. So that's how big it is compared to like an OG like early
Slab-sided
90s slab side lifted F-250.
Wow, it's actually. I mean, it's taller. It's a very tall vehicle.
It's tall, but it's short. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it's tall, but it's I can't say tall, but short.
It has a lot
Tall
of
is
height.
the opposite
but-
of low. Long is the opposite of short.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
in terms of cars.
It has the roof line is very high.
Yeah. It rules. You must have one. You must have one.
Yeah. I found a video of a bunch of people were at like a mud bog event, like they cut a mud bog and put water in it, and all these huge trucks are getting stuck, and then the SHERP guy drives in, and then just starts floating across, and someone comments, are like, "Hey, that's not fair, man." They're like, "He's just floating across," and he drove across and turned around and went back, and like it wasn't fast, but
Yeah.
he just was like, "What?" Nobody else made it.
You literally can't even hate. But like that commentary is like, oh, he just
Yeah.
Like do you remember the movie Tin Cup?
Yeah, vaguely.
There's Kevin Costner gets into a bet with Don Johnson,
The driving
who
contest?
can hit a 7-iron for this.
Yep.
And Don Johnson just goes 90 degrees to the right and like chips it down the road. It goes,
He drives it
ding,
down the road.
Ding, ding,
Still
ding,
going.
ding, and he goes, oh, he just drove it down the road there, didn't he? Hands over the money.
And Don Johnson goes, still going.
Still
So, bink.
Very good.
Very smart.
Don Johnson drives the 300ZX convertible in that movie. I think it's the only
shit.
placement of a 300ZX convertible in any film.
Which is surprising. You'd think there would be in more stuff. I mean, I don't know. They're
pretty
cool
rad
looking.
little car.
Yeah.
Pretty rad.
I've never driven one. I hear they're maintenance nightmares, and it's hard to fix things because of the
It's
engine
very
compartment
cramped in there.
space.
I
Yes.
drove. I had like 6 months where I drove like 4 of them. I did like a LS swap, like a crazy modified one, a stock one. The modified twin turbo one was pretty cool.
Pretty good.
I mean, look, let's just say this: it's pretty cool if you've never driven a Skyline. If you've driven a Skyline and you go, well, they were making that at the same time they were making this. Then you can't go back once you've driven a Skyline.
I wonder what was the price difference between those two when they were new. Like a new Skyline back then was like
know.
what, 35 grand, like a 92.
92.
Skyline?
I don't know what the MSRP was in dollars.
It had to be significantly cheaper.
No idea. I mean, the 300ZX died in America because of that same price creep that all the Japanese cars got.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the end of the run, they were fucking like almost 60 grand or something. They were all a lot more money than Corvettes. That was the competition that everyone was making. So
Did
much-
the 300ZX feel better than a Corvette at the time? Because the Skyline feels like a spaceship.
Oh yeah, a Skyline feels like a 4-year-old BMW 335, and it's 30 years old. That's like how cool a Skyline is. It actually feels pretty well made and like a pretty high quality thing.
Okay.
Skyline's got way better steering. This has that kind of over boosted 90s steering. It's not great.
Turn with one finger kind of steering.
Sorta,
Okay.
yeah. But I drove a couple that were like boosted up a little bit with some bolt-ons and like pretty fun. Like shouldn't be completely counted out if you wanted to take a dive into something fun in 90s, but from what I remember from the people I spoke to who owned them when I drove the cars, tough to work on.
They're like the B5 S4 of Nissan.
Yeah, basically, it's the Japanese S4. Yeah, cool, oddball. When it's working,
own a
it
set of
feels pretty
tools.
nice.
Right.
Definitely own a set of tools. Totally. Do you have anything else good recently?
And I drove rental cars on production, so
Yeah.
that's what I was driving.
In Morocco, do they have like shitty Chinese rental? Oh, you brought them from Spain.
Brought from Spain,
Oh,
which
yeah,
we were
that's-
advised to do based on a lot of the blogs. They were like, yeah, if you get the rental car in Morocco, it might not look anything like what the picture showed.
Yeah.
And they get creative with insurance there. Like they'll be like, oh, you broke that. And like, I didn't break
really?
that. It had 5 windows. It had 4 windows when I picked it up. It's like, well, not our problem.
Well, it has 4 windows
it's
now.
supposed to have 5, and it has 4. So I don't know.
Oh, that stinks.
Are there any things? I'll have to talk about more. There's more stories, but we have to wait till the show airs. There's some good shit.
When is the season airing?
October.
It's always October.
It's
right?
always October.
September, October.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure JF will come by and talk about that before it airs. Maybe.
Spinelli should. Spinelli wants to. he
Why?
had a time.
Oh, really? What kind of a time?
He drove a white Maserati, and he got some attention.
Oh, is it a Levante?
No, he drove a Gran
Quattroporte?
Turismo
Oh.
MC.
Oh.
White.
Well, did they think he was a sheik or something?
No, he looked like he had sold a golf store franchise, but there was only like 2.
Yeah.
And then he bought that and was like, I'm just going to take it on a road trip. And he went by himself. He just looked like that kind of guy. Like,
Yeah.
What are you guys eating? Couscous. Never had it.
Nobody is more lost in Morocco,
Dude.
than a Spinelli and a
Spinelli
Maserati.
and a white Maserati, but I'll let him
That's
tell the
very
stories. He has
funny.
some good ones.
Those cars are very pretty, but they're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound good.
Sounds
real
good. Not good, but sounds good. Mm-hmm. You know what doesn't sound good? Any Ghibli.
Oh, that's
With
the
the
V6, right?
Yeah. It's got the
I mean, V6 is don't
They
sound good. Any of them, except for
Especially-
the R32 narrow
Yeah.
angle, but that's different.
Yeah, they don't sound good, especially when combined with torque converter automatic gearboxes. Then they sound really bad.
I don't like the way
Then
the
it's-
Ghibli looks at all. That's a hard thing they're trying to do is like they need to downsize cylinder count for MPG and whatnot and emissions. But God, this is like the awkward phase when Thad was growing his hair out. You know, when you're trying to grow your hair to be a ponytail, but you're in the middle ground where you're Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Happens
That's the V6.
happens with my beard too.
Really?
Yeah, it was an awkward beard section. Like I've never actually gotten through it.
You've never gone full beard.
No, I haven't. If I did, it would probably be kind of like awesome, like Musto's beard right now. Musto's
True.
beard is ill.
It's-
I wish I could do that. It's like so symmetrical. It looks
got
like he
racing
dyed it
stripe.
like
It
that.
does.
Yeah, it's like a livery on his face. Me, it makes my face look fat. Really does, and it's really splotchy between what's.
It is. It looks like
gray.
you grow a beard in 5 minutes.
I get to the point where it makes my face look fat and splotchy in about 3 days.
Okay.
Then it stays there long past where I'm comfortable looking like that.
So you would need 3 weeks to start cutting it on the side and making it longer, to make your face look longer, right?
I would
Like Patrick
I'd
Stevenson
need to
does
get
that.
an Airbnb in Brooklyn and a really tight pair of pants.
They'll be accepting
and
there.
a shoulder bag and find myself a
They'll be
barber.
like, hey, we know we're here for the awkward phase.
Get it on the super chat if you want to do that before we close it out.
What have
for
you
the
driven
evening.
recently?
Not much. I drove. I spent a bunch of time in the Q ship. So Vinny Russo has the 99 Q45 with 69,000 miles
Cleanest-
on it. It's
cleanest.
super clean. And what we've learned about it is that this being the second gen Q, it has a lot of parts straight out of the first gen LS. The door handles, the window switches,
Wow.
the mirror switches, the blinkers are all out of the fucking LS.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Weird.
really funny. And you remember how in the LS, which we're talking about the million-mile Lexus here, by the way, the driver's seat was sort of blown out
Yep.
due to it having a million miles on it, and the left side was lower than the right side. So when companies build these sort of couch-like seats and the cars become used, when the seat doesn't have this real structure to it, and by structure I'm think a 911 seat, think a BMW M seat, a sporty bucket style seat that has an actual structure to it that needs to be more rigid, even if it's got soft leather on top. Compare that to your Barca Lounger style seat. I don't know, it occurs to me
Where
that.
it's more like two panels, one for
where-
your ass, one for the back.
Exactly.
Right.
And they use springs, right? Those springs, and they use foam, and the foam gets compressed and the springs get saggy like they do in a fucking car. And the Lexus had 900,000 miles, the Infinity with 70,000 miles, and the left side blowout of the driver's seat cushion is the same. And so I did a bunch of driving in this car, and my back is completely fucked. It hurts so
Because it's
bad.
compressing the right side more
Because
than the
it's
left.
compressing the right side more than the left, and because my herniation of my disc was on the right side, so it aggravates it specifically.
What now? What is it? What is happening with? Why are people blowing out the left side of their seats more than the right?
Well,
Because it's two cars, totally different cars.
yeah, so my guess is you get in and out of the car from the left side. So there are times when your body weight is really only on that left half of the seat, whereas that never happens on the right. Also, because the center console and this stuff is here, you inherently sit further to the left on the seat than the right because of how the seatbelt buckle is, the center console is, and the fact that there's a gap between the seat and granted,
Oh, right.
if you're very thin, you probably are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But if you're not very thin, you're probably nodding your head as I say this. And yeah, I mean, just the way a car gets used, your body weight is on the left side of the seat more than it is on the right side of the seat. And so anyway, we have now learned, and this, by the way, this problem existed in my Mercedes SL as well. I tried to get around it by having a company rebuild the bottom of the seat, and it didn't fully work.
Did they do only the foam and not the springs?
They only did the foam and not the springs,
You
and
need
it
new
didn't
springs,
really
I guess.
work.
It's like a mattress.
I mean,
Same
the
thing.
bottom line is, for my specific back issue, or anyone who has back issues, you really just shouldn't buy used cars unless it's a used car either that's had a replaced seat or a sports seat or it should really be a car that where there's a lot of structure to that seat. I have not had these issues. Like remember our like shitbox E30 that became the race car? Like that had the original seat in it when we did the off-road portion of it, and I didn't have that issue. E30s have like actually pretty good structure in their seats.
Well, because they have more segments. There's
Yeah.
like the left side base, right side base, middle thing, and like Porsches have it's smaller panels that make up one whole thing.
Right. So even if you bend out that left side a little bit from getting in and out of the car a million times over 200,000 miles, the center is still okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that's what I've been driving. And it's not been interesting very much. I have been driving my scooter a lot. And do I have a picture? I don't know if I have a picture of my scooter. I've decided I'm going to sell my scooter to get a better scooter.
Okay. Why?
There's nothing wrong with my scooter. My scooter's great. But I had a couple of weeks on a Ducati motorcycle.
I remember that.
Scrambler. Where's a picture of the Scrambler? Here. I had a couple of weeks on the Ducati Scrambler 800, which I really enjoyed. Did not make me want to go out and buy a motorcycle again. It made me appreciate the scooter, actually, because the Scrambler has these kind of wide handlebars, which are fine for riding, but for lane splitting, I was like, my scooter has narrower handlebars and I can get through traffic easier. But being able to ride on the highway with confidence totally made me want to get a faster scooter.
One of those like 2-seat fast
Not
highway
like
legal scooters.
not like a Bergman. I don't want one of them things.
I don't know what that is.
The Bergman is like the big kind of relaxed scooter. I want a Vespa 300.
Okay.
Which is exactly what it sounds like, a 300cc Vespa. It's the fastest Vespa you can buy.
Because you need a motorcycle license for scooters over 50 cc's, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I mean, I have one.
Yeah,
but,
I know you do.
But yeah. But like a 50 Vespa will go like 45 miles an hour. A 150, which is the equivalent of my Yamaha that I have now, will go about 60, which you can go on the highway legally. And I ride on the 90 with I rode my 90 I rode my scooter the full length of the 90 to Slauson the other day.
Which, for people listening, is only like maybe 2
Probably
miles.
2.5 miles, but it's a full-on freeway.
It's like a
and
four-lane.
I was on a 125 scooter, and the 300 Vespa goes 106 miles an hour. Not that I want to go 106 miles an hour, but I want the ability to go 80 if I need it.
Yeah.
You know,
What size are the tires? Because I know
they
small
get bigger.
tires are scary.
They're not that small. They're
Okay.
a little. They're small by motorcycle standards, but they're not. I've
They're
ridden
not
the
scooters.
300. It's stable. It's bigger than normal scooter.
Okay.
The whole body of the scooter is bigger, and that's the other motivation.
long wheelbase.
Just the ratio of, you know how the seats are sort of curved out like saddle type seats.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like ratio of foot stands to handlebars to like that ass curve, because you don't want to like be sitting on that downhill. It's like bad for your coccyx.
Because it rotates all your shit.
Because it rotates your shit. You
Yeah.
don't want that. So
Yeah. You got the longer
point
one.
is, if somebody out there is listening and would like to buy my Yamaha 125 scooter, Zuma, it fucking rules. And I don't know, probably like $1,800. And it's got 6,300 miles on it, and it works absolutely perfectly, and has never once let me down in the 6 years I've owned it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have never owned anything that has given me less trouble than this scooter. I haven't done a fucking thing.
You just changed the tires, right?
I did one service it was oil change. I put new tires on it.
They changed the rubber band for
And it was a valve adjustment. There's one valve, so it was or two. Sorry, I didn't take in an exhaust. So there's one cylinder. So they do a valve adjustment and oil change of the tire. They do that at 5,000 miles, and that was $300. And it doesn't need anything else until 8,000 miles. So if you want my scooter, I'll hand deliver it in LA or whatever.
They're cool,
But
man.
I just
Scooters
want to
are
get a
great.
faster scooter, but this scooter fucking rocks. For someone who wants a scooter like this, this is the best one.
I thought you might go e-bike.
I've been rocking those e-bikes, the vintage electric bikes.
Which are really cool looking.
Really cool.
Really cool looking.
And they're really fun. And I give them back tomorrow. I've had them for a month. And they're really fun, but they're not as useful as the scooter. The scooter is, if you don't want to ride a motorcycle, like an e-bike is a really cool, like urban or beach, like runabout. And like me and Hannah, like definitely took these things to dinner. I rode it to the office a few times. I'd ride it to the store, errands, stuff like that. Like, and it was nice on a nice day. If you want to avoid traffic, they're great. But, I mean, I suppose they probably do make baskets, but you can't really carry anything. You know, the process of, I know you ride your bike around a lot. I like to ride my bike a lot, but I don't really ride at places where I have to go lock it up because the process of carrying and using a bike lock stinks.
Yeah, true.
It stinks.
And these are probably too heavy to like carry upstairs into something. Like I bring my bike inside the office, but it weighs 30 pounds.
And in my normal like mountain bike, I do that too. This thing weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And I carried it up the stairs into here 2 days in a row, and I ended up needing to go to a chiropractor.
Yeah,
like
you need a lot.
I actually needed to go to a chiropractor because
Yeah.
like my intracostal muscles got pulled from carrying an 80-pound bike up the stairs on one side.
It's really
like
heavy.
a
It's really awkward to
complete
carry.
asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
But
Looks nice.
It
It's cool.
looks nice.
Fast.
And, dude, really fast. Really fast. And I learned like, and there's different like modes for power delivery, like 1 through 5. One as low as 5.
Is it power assist where you pedal in it?
No.
Oh,
It's on throttle. 5 is like real fast. 5 is like you probably shouldn't, but like you should, you know?
yeah. You should have a motorcycle, but
Yeah. But even if on like mode 2, it accelerates slower, but still at what I would consider a totally reasonable pace. And it still goes 27 miles an hour. It just takes a little longer to get there. At mode 5, it's going 35.
you're getting there quickly.
You're mobbing.
Yeah.
But the battery, it lets those electrons flow. You at mode 5, you do not get a lot of range. You probably get, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 miles, maybe.
Oh, wow.
In mode 5.
Flat out. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, to get from Venice to here, it's bike path the whole way. So you really are pretty much flat the entire way. If you were in the city, accelerate, coast, because it does have regen. It's got some regen. So if you can get a good coast out of it, it does make a noticeable dent. I've had a lot of fun with these things. They're called Vintage Electric. They're made in California. They are pretty expensive, not gonna lie. They're like 5 G's. But they're handmade. They're very fast. All their models are, and they make one up from what I have. They make one with an even bigger battery and a full suspension from the one that I have, and that's the jam right
Really
there.
cool.
And they have pictures of them doing wheelies on it.
Gee.
And that's the super fast one. But it's a really high quality product. There's definitely other e-bikes out there where you get a better value for transportation if that's your goal. And that's the criticism that a lot of people give is that these things are expensive, and for $5,000 you don't get a front suspension. And I understand that. It's a different thing. You're buying a handmade piece of art that you can ride. I got stopped everywhere I brought this thing. On the Venice bike path, all over the place, I got stopped. Like, what is that? So
I believe that. They look very like a little steampunkish. They're really cool looking. It's like buying a Ducati versus buying
there's
buying
music
like
on the Instagram video, sorry.
like a CBR. Like it's got a little more art to it. It looks vintage.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
a luxury.
It's
good.
a luxury item.
It's
for
a
sure.
luxury item, and I think they're they're small production. They're not expecting to sell thousands and thousands of these things, but they're rad.
Cool.
I mean, I had a real good time. All right, should we hit some
should do
questions
the,
up?
yeah.
Some questiones.
Oh, boy.
All right. Let's see. Nate says, I'm selling my 2009 Porsche 997 Turbo Cab. I'm thinking about buying a Boxster Spider, Cayman GT4, or a 997 GT3. How does the Boxster Spider handle compared to the GT4 or GT3? What is the current best buy for depreciation? Oh boy. The 981 Boxster Spider handles virtually identically to the GT4 if you don't have a stopwatch. They're basically the same car. One has a roof and one doesn't. Basically. It's close enough that if you're not going to track days and timing
don't read
your
a spec
laps,
sheet.
it won't matter. Do you want a roof? Do you not want a roof? That's pretty much what you're looking at. The 997 GT3 is going to be sharper than your 997 cab turbo that you have. The Boxster Spider probably is going to feel like it handles a little better. It probably is.
Really?
Probably, yeah. It's newer.
Never driven
It's newer.
either
It's mid-engine.
one.
They have
Newer
great
helps.
balance, but typically people who buy Caymans and Boxsters end up wanting to go back to GT3s.
And the GT3 is the GT3. Like I think depreciation wise, it has a wider market there's more people that are wanting that car than
Yeah.
are wanting the Spider.
Yeah.
You know,
Spider's
Spider's really special, and you see them around, but it's
the problem with Spiders is when you go to sell it, because of that roof situation,
Right.
you eliminate a lot of people who don't want to deal with that. Some people are going to be all about it, but it does eliminate some of your options, whereas everybody loves a GT3.
Yep.
You got no problem. You sell a GT3, you don't have to justify it to anybody. It's a fucking GT3. So that's what I say. Hoyt Richardson wants to know how the candidate search is going for West Side. I put out one post saying I was accepting applications. And I got 130 applications.
whoa, cool.
For what is basically 3 jobs. It really is 3 jobs. And I don't mean 3 types of jobs. I mean 3 actual jobs.
Right.
I narrowed it down to the best 2 or 3 candidates for each job. And I informed those who did not make it that they did not that they didn't make it. It's not, the skills offered did not match the experience I needed in some places. But I got a lot of really interesting applicants and a lot of really enthusiastic people. And it's weird. I don't think I'm like meant to be a boss. I'm just not that kind of hard ass. You know, I don't like saying no to people. I'm meant to be a customer service guy, but I'm not really meant to be the slave driver or that hard-headed manager or whatever. Like, I felt bad I couldn't take everybody, even though it's like, holy shit, I can't take
I
everybody.
know. You turned down Bill Clinton. He was like, he had qualifications for a different job, not for this one.
But it's coming along, brother. It's coming along. Ryan says, I just bought a Porsche Boxster 03. It's fucking Boxster Day on the show. I need advice on how to dress like a D-bag baller on a budget to match the car and make girls think it's a real Porsche. Easy, my brother. Very easy. Adidas tracksuit.
Adidas tracksuit.
Adidas tracksuit is the answer to every one of those questions.
I was trying to think the other day. I was talking with a friend of mine. What do douchebags wear nowadays? Because we were talking about double popped Abercrombie shirts. We're like, no, that was
a while ago. Yeah, and then there was Affliction.
Ed Hardy. That was the same Affliction time.
I don't know. I mean, it would be cliche to say that it's like the cafe racer motorcycle with like the Deus Ex Machina gear, but I don't think that's really it. I would say flat bills.
But that's a special. That's not a Porsche
flat
douche.
bills. Oh, Porsche douche.
I'm just thinking, you know, the people that wore double pop collar
Porsche douches
and boat
wear
shoes.
Porsche douches wear cheap windbreakers embroidered with the name of the hospital they donated the fucking wing to. On them.
That's a special
Highly
kind of douche.
specific.
Oh, you noticed. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it's a Letterman jacket that says Saint, Martin's on it. You don't see these every day. That's right.
I'm not going to name names at all, but I was at a car show recently and someone who is already quite well known was wearing one of those. Oh, you noticed. We should call that the "Oh, you noticed" douche.
It's like dropping the keys on the bar. You know, this is Ferrari. Oh, I just didn't want to have it in my pocket.
Totally. It was taking up space in the pants. There you go. That's what you do. I say, the answer to your question, Ryan, tracksuit or
And any Porsche stuff. Wear Porsche gear while driving a Porsche.
yeah, that too. Oh my God, I saw a guy who looked like he was at a Cars and Coffee, and he was driving a Jaguar, and he was wearing what the owner, like what Tom Walkinshaw himself would wear to a Jaguar race. White pants, Gucci loafers, Gucci belt, Jaguar Le Mans team, with shirt, with the sponsors, Jaguar Le Mans team jacket. Extraordinary.
That's a lot of stuff.
This is at Cars and Coffee in Malibu.
Even if you race Le Mans, I feel like
He might have been
you
a
shouldn't wear that
somebody.
everywhere.
You know what? Someone's going to tweet at me and go, do you know who that was? Like, that was somebody. Even if that was somebody, change.
Time and place. Because, yeah.
Oh, let's see. Todd just says, what's up? Zach, I heard your hooker story from Bam's True Stories. What is that?
I want to clarify real quick.
Bam's True Stories are fake stories, I believe.
No, they were real. They were real stories.
I don't remember it.
When I first moved here, I lived in a house my brother had rented that didn't want to live in, and we found out I lived there for a month. And in that month, we found out that one of the girls was like selling Herbalife, and one of them was a prostitute. So that was fun. I called my brother, and it's like, The fuck did you set me up for? Like, what is this? Where am I? What is this?
When did we do that? What was that in a part of a podcast?
Bam came over one night and was just like, I'm doing this
Old
YouTube
school
channel.
Bam
and,
podcast?
yeah, old school. So
Remember when he did
has a
Not
YouTube
My
channel.
Crib? Mm-hmm. He'd Bam
That was
went
funny.
around my parents' house and pretended it was his house, and then at the end it was like he broke in and was doing it. It was
He's like, I
pretty
bought all
funny.
these pictures of these white people.
And then he's like, you see, here's me with, and he picks it up. It's like George Bush. It's my fucking dad. Ugh. Ziwi says, I'm not allied to either brand, but I'm torn between a Camaro and a Mustang, brand new. Let's assume he means V8 powered. Matt, you've mentioned issues with the MT82 gearbox, which is the 6-speed manual you get with all non-Shelby Mustangs. What about it in particular is the issue? I have never driven an MT82 gearbox equipped car that didn't grind third gear. Every single one I've ever driven has ground third gear. Press cars, personal cars, doesn't matter. So I don't like that gearbox. I think the shifter feel sucks. There's an MGW short shift kit that helps that. But it bothers me that you have to buy a Shelby to get the Tremec, which is basically the same gearbox you get in all Camaros.
It's true.
So
It has a almost like a synthetic feel to it. Like it feels like it's cable actuated, but trying to pretend to be rod, like with
Totally.
some guys or something. You know?
yeah, totally. That's the thing I've noticed. Like I think if you ask me which I'd rather buy, I think I'd probably still have a Mustang GT over a Camaro, despite that, because of how I fit in the car. But I have definitely had issues with the MT82 gearbox. And it is what it is. Thank you, sir. Lozespi says, podcast with the straight pipes made me buy a GMC Envoy XUV. Does anyone remember what that is?
I think it's the coolest car ever.
The Envoy XUV is a very bizarre version of the GMC
That
Envoy.
photo is so good.
This is the most. It had a rollback roof that allowed you to just like shove shit in there.
This
And
is
it
this
was
is a photo of an Envoy
very
driving towards a city with like a giant tall armoire sticking out the back of it, but it's like
Vertically.
2 feet wide
Yeah.
and 8 feet tall.
Looks like a lot of people got a picture of that thing when they went out that day.
That's gotta
oh,
be a
here's a
press
good
car.
good angle from above. So the whole roof just rolls up and it gives you. It's like a Chevy Avalanche, but indoors.
It's like a Chevy Avalanche with a little bit less space.
Yeah, it's a very, in my opinion, and this is what it looks like. It looks like a hunchback car. When the thing is closed, like, all right, I get it's got some utility, but it's just not good looking. I mean,
What a weird idea.
they took a pretty normal, like, there's nothing wrong with a GMC Envoy stylistically. It's actually kind of a decent looking vehicle. I remember when those came out.
It was like a Ford Explorer, but GMC.
yeah,
You
my
know.
friend had a GMC Envoy in college, and it actually, if I can take myself back to that point, I remember thinking it was a nice looking vehicle, because remember it replaced the fucking Blazer from before,
Which was pretty bad.
pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that was back in the round,
With
very round days.
The parrot
right?
beak. It had the beak at the front.
The Blazer did?
Yeah, it came to like a beak.
I'd have to see it because it was like the very round, bubblessy.
Yeah,
Blazer,
round
right?
the round bubbly Blazer. Let's see, that would have been like a 98 maybe, I think. Yeah, see, see, it kind of comes to the front. I maybe other people don't see as as
it's got
beaky
a peaked hood, so that
Yeah.
kind of gives the impression that
To me, I find that to be very avian, very bird.
I have avian bone disease.
I don't know. Anyway, I remember the Envoy being a nice replacement for that, and the XUV was like, whoa!
It just seems
what
like
did
a
you
bold
do?
idea in reliability.
Yeah. Let's see. Miguel says that I say nothing new under the sun when comparing usuals like Camaros and Camaro, Mustang, etc. What would be something new and different? So basically, people ask us the same questions over and over, and what would be new and different?
Well, I mean, to be fair, when people ask those questions, the criteria they give us, Mustangs and Camaros tend to fit as an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want us to be like, you could get a semi truck? Like, well, I was hoping to autocross a little bit. Be like, well, this is not new under the sun. So
Yeah, I think the problem is that a lot of people have similar questions, and either because they want to donate to us to get the answer from us directly versus just watching our videos. You know, I think I don't know. I just think people want to know what is important to them, and mass market vehicles, which one we prefer is important. I think it's unfortunate that. But I mean, look, every show people ask us different stuff. It's like there's a lot of repetition, but every show people ask us different
People
stuff.
may not listen to every single show, so they miss Camaro episode, and then they come in and they go, hey, I'm thinking of buying a car. I want to ask this. And to us, it's nothing new under the sun, but yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Keep asking
nothing
your
new under the
questions.
sun is like, I want a rear wheel drive starter car for under $20,000. You know, for that, there's nothing new under the sun. That's what I mean by that. So if you ask us those kind of questions, you're going to get a generic answer. But here's what's different. Someone asked not just Mustang versus Camaro, Matt, what are your issues with the MT82 gearbox?
Right.
That's different. Because now we have something to talk about. It's not just like, well, Mustang versus
What should I buy for under 30 grand?
Totally.
Right.
Wilkie Way says, does Zach have an interest in motorcycles too?
Only like dirt biking still interests me a lot. And I see the value in motorcycles. Getting around the city, like I think riding an electric assisted mountain bike around the city would be awesome. But I do not have an interest in riding on the street. I always
Those who don't know, Zach had a big fucking crash.
Yeah, I went in a helicopter and went to the hospital for like a month. So I'm not really into it. And even at the time, I would have rather been riding a dirt bike. I just didn't have a truck or anything to like bring one to a location. So I supplemented it with a street bike.
You did some scootering in Thailand.
I did.
You did some
which is
scootering
fun.
in Thailand.
That was
and
fun.
that was super fun.
That was fun. It was on Elephant.
I enjoyed those scooters.
And we saw a guy with a lit barbecue in the back of his truck.
Was one of my friend Marty, who I called the shaman. If you're a regular, long-time listener, my friend Marty the shaman just got back from Thailand. He has some stories.
I want to hear his story.
But yeah, he was talking. He was like, "Dude, the scooters," and it made me think of the guy who was driving his food cart.
Changing locations.
Yeah, it was a scooter with a sidecar that was a grill, and that's cool and all. But he was going from one place to the other on the highway, and the grill was on fire.
On fire. Smoke coming out of it. It was incredible. It's just the dedication.
I wanted to like flag him down and get a kebab or something.
Just try and get it while moving. That would have been the game.
Get in front of him because I was getting like embers blasted.
Yeah, we
in my
passed quickly.
face.
Yeah, no, scooters are incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Oops,
Sorry. Mateo says, how cheap would a Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio have to be to offset the issues?
The number of issues will grow as it gets cheaper. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Unless he's thinking like new.
And it's not just like how cheap is it, right? It's like, what's your time worth? Like, even if it was 20 grand off or 25 grand off, okay, now you get an $85,000 car for 60 grand, but it's in the shop half the time, so you're actually driving a base model Giulia half the time, not your, it's like, what is your time and headaches worth more so than just, well, this thing is known for being unreliable, and in that case, give it to me for 30 grand less and we'll just call it a day. I would not be happy with an unreliable product, even if I got it at a discounted price.
And if it has issues, I know this from cars I've owned, it puts stress in your brain every time you turn it on. When I had a muscle car, every time I turn it on, I was like, is it going to work today?
Yeah.
And then it works, but you're listening constantly.
Yeah,
So
like
the same thing.
I bought a dented grill from Home Depot once. The door on the cabinet was dented, and it was like half price because it was a floor model, it was dented. That's okay. That's like, all right, here's a quality issue. It got damaged, but it works as advertised, so I don't care if it's a little ugly. It's one thing to say, how big a scratch would you accept on a Giulia? You know what I mean? If I gave you a Giulia for 20 grand off, would you take a scratch that went the whole way down the side? But if you tell me you're going to sell me a car that works like shit, I don't really care if it's free, if it leaves me on the side of the road, because my time is worth more than those headaches.
Right.
So I don't have a number, dude. I'm sorry to say. I just wouldn't take one.
They're fun. They're fun and pretty. They
Yeah.
are really good looking. When I see them around town, like that's such a good
It's a
looking
great
car.
looking car, and they are fun to drive.
Yeah.
But like, it's not. There's certain cars I'm willing to put up with headaches. A fucking four-door sedan in 2019 is not a car I want to make sacrifices for. Sorry.
Yeah, true.
Let's see. AP says, watch question. All the car people out there, earmuffs, 90 seconds. You don't want to traumatize
Take
you
my
with
cans
watches. I'm buying at MSRP, he says, as a long-term keeper. Should I buy a Rolex Daytona or a Rolex GMT Pepsi? For those of you who don't know, the Daytona is the chronograph, very famous. As the 24 Hours of Daytona, the watch is named after that. I think I think probably 5 or 6 of the 10 most expensive watches ever sold are Rolex Daytonas.
Whoa.
Paul Newman's personal Daytona was the most expensive.
Personal pedigree attached to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or rare ones made for kings and shit like that. The Pepsi is the GMT Master in blue and red. The one I have, I got for my wedding actually. Lovely watch, very tough to find. Can't get them at Sticker. If you can, you should. So the difference is not an investment question here, because both of these watches, being stainless steel Rolex sport watches, will carry excellent resale value if you can get them at Sticker, and in the short term, you can flip them as a profit if you want. The real question is, can you fucking read the Daytona dial? Because I cannot.
What?
The Daytona, I think, has a real problem with it, which is that it's totally fucking illegible. And and it really drives me nuts. Here's a Daytona.
Okay.
And I apologize to Crown and Caliber for showing a StockX ad. But as you can see, black and gray everywhere. You have gray hands on gray markers on black dial, and what happens is these hands really vanish. They're thin hands. There's not a lot of lume there, and the hands really disappear on the dial, and you cannot tell time on a Rolex Daytona. So when I had one as a loaner,
Why do all of them? It's 10 o'clock. That's weird.
that when you display a watch, apparently the best looking hand position to display a watch is with the hands at 10:10.
God,
That's
we're
a
weird.
thing.
Humans are strange.
That's a thing. It's like lining up your
No,
setup
I
caps. It's like
believe
lining
you.
up your setup caps.
I just
So here's your Pepsi GMT.
specific.
It's called Pepsi because of the blue and red bezel. It's a GMT Master because it has a 24-hour hand, which is actually pointed at the number 10 right here.
could it also be the police model because it's blue and red.
Could be. So these, you can actually tell time much better. The hands are thicker. There's more lume. The lume plots are bigger. The dial is less cluttered. So if it's me, I would take the GMT. And I also find a GMT complication to be much more useful than a chronograph. Your mileage may vary.
Wait, what's the complication part of it?
Complications. So your watch tells time, right? Hours, minutes, seconds. Anything it does beyond that mechanically is called a complication. So maybe it has a date window. That's a
Right.
complication.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
it has a chronograph. That's a complication. GMT, which is a 24-hour hand, is a complication. Calendar functions, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are many complications. The world record, Vacheron Constantine made a watch with 57 complications. One
Holy
watch.
crap.
Fucking crazy.
That's impressive math.
Dude, there's like, this is with springs and gears. There's like moon phases and tides, and the fucking thing has chimes in it and sings the time to you. There's all kinds of crazy shit.
It's impressive. Like the craftsmanship is impressive.
Millions of dollars for something like that.
Sure.
Millions of dollars. And that's a pocket watch. You can't fit that in a wristwatch. I think the most complicated wristwatch has like 15 or
Well, it's like the
16
size of a
complications.
frisbee, I bet.
Yeah,
That whole
it's
shit.
probably like 3 inches diameter, and also not only is it 3 inches. I bet I can find a picture of it. It's you actually view both sides as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, wait. Vacheron most
Reminds me of like, what am I trying to think of?
There it is. This is fucking crazy.
No, it's like Willy Wonka.
Reference
Whoa.
5260. Look at this bad motherfucker right here.
That's pretty- that's
if
beautiful.
you
It
aren't
is.
into watches,
Not.
what
But
you
it's
have
really,
here,
it's gorgeous.
This is both sides of the same watch. And at its heart, what you have here is a single spring bouncing back and forth. That's it. Dong, 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 dong.
with reduction gears that power all these
powers
crazy things.
all of
yeah.
this shit.
Cool.
Look how many fucking hands are on this thing.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on one side.
Yeah. Like
Jeez.
there's like so this is why like if you like this is why when people are like I don't get watches, like I understand why you might not want to carry this fucking thing around and use it, but if you're into cars and engineering, and if you can find a Koenigsegg or a Veyron or a Pagani to be a work of art, think about how much stuff is shoved into something, you know, the size of like a coaster.
No, I
So crazy.
I don't really care about. There's like a huge gap in my interest in watches. Like I
Right.
think this is pretty. This Weiss watch is awesome. It's just like clean. I like the way it looks. And then up until you get to the Constantine thing, where I just appreciate the math involved and the engineering, like I think that is incredibly impressive for someone to conceptualize that idea and then execute it. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. So this
but
says,
in between, it's like you can't drive. There's no excitement that comes from to me from like wearing anything costs like $50,000 versus buying a Koenigsegg or.
Well, you don't
M2.
get. Yeah, it doesn't. It's
Right.
not something that generates
Of course not.
Feelings. You know, a lot of it. I mean, look, if we're honest with ourselves, a lot of it is just fucking trophies. It's jewelry. You know what I mean? It's my girlfriend likes to wear fucking diamond rings. Girlfriend, excuse me. Fuck me, wife. Holy shit! I'm not fully programmed yet. I'm trying. I say wife all the time. I'm not programmed, but So you know, it's a car you can bring into the bar with you. You know, it can be a way to invest money, although not really. And if you do appreciate the engineering, like I'm not so nerdy that I need to know how every little part works. But if you show me a watch that's got 12 complications in it, I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool.
It's very cool.
So I just pulled this up. So that watch, the Vacheron 57260, has 57 complications. 6 for measuring time, 7 for a perpetual calendar. A perpetual calendar means it knows all the leap years. It knows how many days are in every month. You never have to change. You never have to adjust the date. It knows the day basically forever.
Wow.
8 functions for the Hebrew calendar. What? 9 functions for the astronomical calendar. 1 for the lunar calendar. 1 for a anonymous religious calendar. A column wheel chronograph. That's 4 functions. An alarm. That's a mechanical chiming alarm. Is a 7 functions. A Westminster carillon striking. Don't even know what that is, but striking means chiming, and that's 8 functions, and then just others. 6 others. Here we go. Others include power reserve indicator, power reserve for the striking train. So it's
like a Bugatti Chiron where it's like how much power are you using?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Winding crown position indicator, dual barrel winding. Wow.
And a secret mechanism.
Secret mechanisms.
Can't tell you what it is. I like that he just raises the calendar. It's like, what else does it do? Oh, it has 6. It has a secret religious calendar of an anonymous religion. You're like, where is it? Don't worry about it.
You got to find it.
It's anonymous.
It must have been millions of dollars. All right. Sorry. We're done with watches for the show. Brian P says, I drive a 2011 WRX. I'm looking for an upgrade. I hate the seats and the Subaru-ness. I like the GLA 45, but I don't have the cash. I live in Maryland, 20 to 25,000. Will never see track. Daily fun car, not a wrench. Golf R.
Yep.
Golf R, you're almost there, 20 to 25K. You're definitely there for used ones.
Yeah, you could get an R32, which are strangely holding value, but the reliability might not be.
That's older.
Yeah, the new Golf R is awesome. That's such a good car.
I find it hard to believe that you couldn't get a used GLA 45 for 25K.
Oh, I'd so much rather. Well, I just don't like the way the GLA looks.
They're
I
like
would get a Golf
25
R.
to 30 grand used. Like he's there. Like he's almost there.
Yeah,
like he needs to
You
get a
just
little
can't
more,
get a new one,
more
but
money.
that's okay.
Yeah, you're not getting a new one. No, they're a ripoff new, like 65 G's. Fuck that.
Yeah.
What else would you get if you wanted a more grown up? I mean, you can roll the dice a little bit and get a used Audi S3. I mean, the S3 is a nicer car than the GLA 45.
Yeah, and that kind of gives you the brand recognition versus getting a GTI, which is basically the same car.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't like the seats and Subaru-ness of the WRX, a GTI with the good seats and the performance pack will feel like an upgrade.
Yeah,
and a Golf R
Subaru just
They
I
feel
like
cheap.
them, but they feel cheap.
They're cheap.
And the 2011s, in my opinion, look like.
Is that the ugly one?
That's
when the droopy one.
It's when they did the egg. Everything was like a hatch.
Yeah, no thanks. Patrick Montgomery says, I'm replacing a 2013 Sonata and I'm thinking of an Impreza hatch.
Buy Brian's car.
Buy Brian's WRX, dude. I haven't driven the new Impreza hatches.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about them, man. I don't even know if I could identify one. I'm sorry, Patrick. I have no help for you.
They're very functional, but I think the interiors and exteriors are kind of meh. I'd get GTI.
You want to stick with a Sonata, check out a Veloster N.
Oh, yeah.
Veloster N. Make sure to get the limited slip
That
diff.
car's fun.
Very fun. I got a nice note from a Veloster N owner recently. A couple. Oh my God! I don't know if we're gonna get through these. I'm gonna do as many as I can, and then when I burn out of brain power, I'm just gonna call
Speed
the
round.
Which manufacturer has the coldest air conditioner?
Dodge.
Probably.
Yeah. In my experience.
Yeah.
Any of the American trucks. Any of the American trucks.
Yeah. Half-ton trucks,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. Brian P says, okay. I'm not sorry. Thank you. I'm only gonna go questions. I'm thinking of Justin says, I'm thinking of trading my Focus ST for an NC or ND Miata. Size isn't a factor. Size is always a factor if you're talking about dailying a Miata.
Yeah.
Even if you can fit, look at the fucking trunk.
I mean, I dailied one for 2 years. The trunk was something
It's a
to consider.
problem.
Like, you carry a backpack.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's got a really small trunk.
Especially coming from a Focus. How much did you use the hatch and have the seats down? Like,
Yeah.
that's a real concern.
And also, if you're getting a soft top, it's so loud in there.
But even the hard top is loud. Isn't it only like 1 or 2 dBs quieter? It's not much.
I assumed
The
it was
RF
better than
was
that.
not that
Really?
much,
Oh,
yeah.
well, the soft top is so loud I couldn't have a Bluetooth call on the highway. That would be a problem for me. But they're fun.
They're so fucking
They're fun,
though.
but I have a real hard time recommending them to almost anybody as daily driver cars. I'm sorry to say. Unless you're committed. If you're really committed and you know the facts, those are the facts. Thomas says, for my next purchase, I'm hesitating between a Fiat 124 Abarth and the MX-5. I would buy the better one. Sean says, which obviously is the MX-5. That Fiat is so terrible.
It would have been so great to leave that. And he's like, but I don't know.
No, I drove
Well, the ND2 with the new engine.
That's the
definitely
one you
worth
buy.
the new engine.
Yes. The 124 is just like the Abarth, or is just like the MX-5, except in all the ways that matter, it's worse.
Yeah, and the turbo engine's not.
The turbo engine sucks.
Have you driven with a downpipe? I think that would help.
No.
I haven't either.
I haven't. No, but I drove it. Remember, JF tried to have me review it, and I told him that I refused after driving it.
We did the Italy trip, right?
Yeah, in Italy,
Yeah.
and as a segment, I was supposed to review it driving over the Italian Alps. I was also doing the Stelvio, the little 4-cylinder Stelvio, and the 124 was so terrible that I drove it for like 4 hours, and I came back and I told JF that I do not have a single nice thing to say about this car, and if you make me on video, that's what I'm going to say, because there's nothing. He goes, can you find anything nice to say about it? And I said no, and he went, okay, and we axed the whole bit. So that's that. Sean says, do you think a clean, well done E30 convertible with an M3 engine swap is a 13K driving experience? Now this is interesting because on the one hand, yes it is, because E30s are nice, and S52 engines that he's talking about is
Not bad.
nice, is an improvement. And it probably would sound nice as a convertible, and it would probably be a fun cruiser. And I've considered these E30 convertibles on myself. However, I think they're probably a little flexy.
Oh, but it's very flexible. You're kidding? This is late 80s development technology for convertibles.
And I think doubling your horsepower is not going to do any wonders for that flexiness.
You're going to need quite the cage. Well, but it depends on what does this person just want to like take a nice road, go for a cruise? Is this the Corvette convertible owner, but who wants to go used in German? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, an older convertible is going to have some chassis flex.
Be very aware of what you're getting into. If you think this is going to be an awesome like canyon bashing car or track car, like you're going to need a serious 6-point cage to tie all those ends together.
Totally. You should absolutely, I assume that this person hasn't yet, go drive several E30 convertibles in stock form and just go, would doubling the power improve this or make it terrible? Let's see. James says, cloth versus leather. Who makes the best cloth seats? I would say
Recaro.
I would say cloth and Recaro.
Yeah.
I've seen some really nice like German cars from the 90s, like, you know, M5s and stuff that had cloth, and they're really, really nice. That taut German leather or German cloth is really good stuff.
It's better when it's cold, leather gets too cold. When it's hot, it gets too hot. Like I've never personally enjoyed the quote advantage of having leather.
I've never either.
Yeah.
Vinyl,
of course, is worse.
Vinyl's the worst, but I would love to have a high quality well-made cloth seat is an option in pretty much any car.
Yeah.
Custard JW GoPro says, I took a smoking tire inspired trip last fall to drive the R34 at Fun to Drive in Japan. I wonder if it's the same R34 I drove.
Probably.
If it's like the silvery blue one, it probably is.
They have a ton of them there.
Then I rented a Boxster on Turo for the Angeles Forest. Thanks for the great content. Thank you. I'm glad you had fun on that trip. That sounds awesome. R34 Fun to Drive if you're in Japan. Fun, the number 2 Drive, has a bunch of really cool JDM cars, and they're in the mountains already outside of Tokyo. So you just go out there, grab a car, and you run the fucking togeis. It's sick. All right, what do we got? Olsfin1 says, thoughts on auto shows kind of dying. Many brands won't be at Frankfurt and many more, similar elsewhere. I don't give a shit because I don't go to auto shows.
That's why they're dying.
I mean, social media has allowed these automakers to do marketing on their own terms. They can get involved in smaller events. They can run video or viral campaigns.
Well, and the cost of getting cars and people to these car shows and building booths, like building the booth is its own
Millions of
$6 to $7 figure
dollars.
business.
Yeah.
So if they can not do that and have bigger reach, it makes sense.
Yeah, they're probably going, for $7 million, we can have a booth for a show. Doesn't even get us to the show. We still have to send 100 people there. We still have to do all this shit. Or we could do, 2 years of viral campaigns or
Sell
whatever.
more cars, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, auto shows are great for consumers. You want to go, I'm going to buy a sedan. I want to go sit in 10 different cars. It's good to take your kids to let your kids touch stuff. But what does Ferrari get out of being at an auto show versus, whatever the fuck else they do? I don't know, probably not much. I bet they're not converting a lot of new sales at Ferrari at auto shows.
It is a bummer because it, like you said, it inspires kids. It does help people shop, but I'm not surprised that the business case is dropping away.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I haven't been to an auto show in 3 years.
Well, because the internet gives you everything you need immediately, and getting in line. Like auto shows it's a thing. You got to drive, park, all that stuff.
It's really a thing, and they were expensive.
They are.
Yeah. John recommends the Bergman for the Bergman is a big lazy boy scooter.
I love this whole. The Bergman is the king of two-wheeled cushion and sex appeal. Well, okay. It's really comfy. It's the cheat mode bike for Iron Butt Challenge.
It probably is a good cheat mode for Iron. It's got like a backrest. It's really luxurious, but you can't.
I see those. I'm like, is that a motorcycle? Like, no, it's a scooter.
It looks like the Judge Dredd bike.
It does. It totally does.
Yeah, you don't want to be lane splitting in that though. Jordan Klein says, "Oh, thank you to both of us for stressing the driver mod. I did the 2-day M school, and I took away a lot of skills from it. Skip your exhaust upgrade and do a driving school first. I completely
100%.
agree. Completely agree. Nothing wrong with modifying your car, improving for the track, but if you know how to drive it properly, you will get a lot more out of it than doing any mod, which you can learn from the instructors when they put you in M5s and they go out in 320Ds and smoke you.
Yeah, they're leading. You're like, why are you lead follow and you have half the horsepower?
Yeah. Adrian says, I'm rebuilding a 71 Firebird. Thought about doing an LS swap, but decided to go with an old school 400 with a Holley EFI system. What can I do to make it a bit more reliable and modern? Should I do an AccuSump oils? Is that a dry sump? AccuSump oil system?
No, AccuSump oil system. Musto has this on his charger, and basically it's a pre-oiler, so it shoots oil onto the valves before you start it. So everything is always lubricated because those. The way the lubrication works in those engines is like the pickup, the oil pump in the pickup, which is activated mechanically by the engine turning over, and that dumps oil into the valve. So if your car sits for a long time and then you start it, everything's kind of dry. Musto's had one of those like
hit a switch and pre-oil for.
I think it's like you just like turn the key or you turn the on switch and it just like pre-oils really quick. And
cool.
Musto swears by it, so that would definitely help. And then if you're fully rebuilding,
if he's
it,
already going with an EFI system, that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, it'll start, run better miles per gallon, more power, like all of that.
I mean, I don't know about the engine, but like your gearbox can make a real difference. Like, are you running with the old school shitty 4-speed, or get a Tremec 6-speed in there with a nice 373 gear set? Now your car is going to feel a lot more modern than these long 4-speed gears.
True. Or the other side where people I remember friends in high school being on the highway at 65, running like 4,200 RPM.
No, don't do that.
4-speed, like
Yeah.
you don't want that. Yeah,
No,
go
you don't want
5-speed,
that.
6-speed.
But I think you're on the right track. I mean, also obviously suspension, right? Maybe coilovers, maybe it's
Hotchkiss shit.
a 4-link shit. Call Hotchkiss, they got you, or Detroit Speed, or a bunch of these guys. But there's a lot you can do. But I think with EFI is the big one.
Yep.
You're on the right track there. Okay, here's a different one. Dr. Nepal, should I get a 2013 Volvo S60 T6R or a 2013 Taurus SHO? I have to say Volvo. The Volvo's just cooler.
It is cooler.
Those Tauruses are good sleepers. I think you can tune them up a bit.
I remember reviewing. It was fast, but they're
big.
huge.
They're like the size of minivans. They're so big
and ugly.
Yeah,
they're very
That
unattractive.
Volvo is cool, and that Volvo, it might be annoying to keep it running. It might require some things of you, but manual gearbox with that really cool shifter, great seats.
Oh, that's right.
The cool
They're
shifter.
styling. There was
Yeah.
a sweet wagon at Classic Car Club that Spinelli put on Instagram the other day. It was really good.
The wagons are the coolest, but they're very difficult to find. Zack says, would I rather drive the Countach through Italy or the SHERP across Russia, all expenses paid?
Come on, what are you doing?
SHERP Russia.
Really? I thought you were going to go Countach, Italy.
No. SHERP across Russia? Hell yeah, dude. That's an expedition. I'd want to go with like a guide. I'm not going solo.
Of course not. I was thinking of how loud it would be for so long. It would be a better adventure, but
I really, you know what?
That's hard.
Having done the All Cars Go to Heaven movies, like in shit boxes, like I would really like to do like a fun expedition in a totally like in a vehicle,
in a real vehicle.
Yeah, like I saw we were talking. They have most of a California backcountry discovery route.
Oh,
They do.
cool.
I am very tempted to pitch a story to Road and Track about driving it.
Should get a Ranger Raptor.
I should get something. You should come.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
super down.
I think driving the Countach through Italy would be fun, but I think driving a SHERP across Russia would be some real next
More
level
unique.
shit.
True.
Last question before we get out of here for the night. What are our opinions on Volvo reliability? I'd like to purchase either a new V60 or older V70Rs. My wife leased for 3 years a V60R, and although it worked fine, there were a few quirks.
It had some electronic quirks, right?
It had some electronic quirks. The screen froze a couple times, required restarts. Sometimes when you'd reverse, the backup camera would come on, and then when you started driving, it wouldn't turn off for 5-6 minutes sometimes. Electronic hiccups mostly. Although when we bought the car new, it was delivered to us new, completely empty of refrigerant in the air conditioning. There's no refrigerant.
Not a
in
great
it.
sign.
Not a great sign. No leaks. It didn't leak out. It was just
It was
never.
just, they never filled it.
Just never put in.
So, yeah, my dad, he has a V60, and it's his second one in a row, and he's never really had a problem with any of them. He's done regular service. He drives them a lot every
Yeah.
day. I don't know.
I-
Do you think long term? Because I don't know. We should look into like Consumer Reports.
I
do they
also
land
think-
between like Germany and Japan in reliability, or I know the new ones are having electronic problems because they have a very
It's
complicated
more like Germany
media.
and America than Germany and Japan. If I'm really honest, I think it's more like Germany and America. And if I'm really honest, her Volvo was real cool. If you wanted a normal car that had some like car guy cred. But it really felt front wheel drive biased. It really felt front wheel drive heavy. And this may not apply to the brand new one, by the way. I haven't driven the brand new one. This is one generation ago that just ended at the end of last year. The 6-speed gearbox auto was real sluggish. Hannah didn't give a shit. She didn't know the difference, but like I could tell. And it torque steered. Like it noticeably torque steered. And so like she liked it a lot. She liked that it was cool. She leased it for 3 years, and her red one was the only one like it we saw anywhere.
Yeah, they're very good looking cars.
Yeah,
they feel good.
and the seats were really comfortable. I liked how comfortable the seats were, and she enjoyed it. So she has, even despite its quirks, she has no complaints about it. But would I go buy one? I'm not so sure. I also really love the XC90 until me and Thad rented one for our Pearl Jamsterdam trip. Me, Thad, and Travis went to Amsterdam. We did a little road trip through Brussels, and all of us, it's like I'm 6'2", and I'm the smallest one. Thad is 6'5", and Travis is 6'4". So I was like, I need something big. So I got an XC90. It was comfortable, but I hated how it drove.
Did you have the funky engine or was it a diesel engine?
No, it was the diesel. It wasn't the best one they make. They make better ones, but I just hated how it drove.
Because our rental car for Spain, Morocco was an XC60 and diesel, and I actually thought the powertrain was great. It was very comfortable, but what I noticed was like all of the media screens that photograph really well in nicely polished photos look cheap when you sit in them. Like that piano black plastic thing, like that little knob.
It's the worst.
You know, like their infotainment works well because they have a laser grid in front of it. It's not a touch screen, so you actually don't have to touch it all the way if you don't want to. That all works really quick, but it doesn't look as premium once it gets a little dusty or a couple miles on it.
The problem with all this stuff is the fingerprints and all the dust and the wipes just ruins it.
You know what I really like? Honda Accord. Honda Accord sedan. I swear, I saw one the other day, like from back three quarter. I was like, that's a really good looking back
like
of a
the
car.
new one that you drove recently?
Yeah.
The one you like reviewed?
You know, if you're looking at V60, V70, you're kind of like, you want to have a German car, but you don't want to quite commit to the German car.
The Honda Accord is a nice looking car.
I think it's a good looking car. It would solve the problems that this person is looking to solve, I think. But it doesn't have the car guy cred, like you said.
Yeah, Volvos are cool.
They're cool.
The Accord, not cool, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a nice car.
And the
It's
new
not
V70
cool.
is a really good looking wagon.
And the V70 and the V90 is like 35 feet long, but it looks
Really good
amazing.
looking car.
Yeah, it looks amazing. The styling on those cars is fantastic. And the new interiors look great too, but I'm not sure if I would buy one again based on the experience I had with the one that we just had. But that's okay. I bought a 1991 Mitsubishi Delica for that. So I get it on the 23rd.
You do?
Finally.
Oh, cool.
I finally, and I could get it earlier, but I don't have fucking time. So, all right, that's all for us. You want to plug anything? Instagram.
Watch Driving ABC Sports when it comes out. Watch Proving Grounds new season when it comes out, and follow me on Instagram at fake Zack Clapman.
And Zach's doing a really good job with his one takes too. What do you have next week? The C63 something C63.
That's gonna go up Wednesday, tomorrow, 2 days. That's coming up.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's what day is it? What month is it? Tomorrow's Tuesday. That's gonna go
Tuesday.
up Wednesday.
It's gonna go up Wednesday.
And then next week will be this built track Audi A4 I'm driving, which I drive tomorrow.
Cool. And next week, I'm going to put up the first video on Westside Collector Car Storage, which is going to be structure. And I made it with Armin. I'm going to edit it this week. If you are in Los Angeles and you have sports cars, you need to be talking to me because I have the pretty much the LA's only purpose-built collector car storage facility opening in September. Or possibly October. We got 130 indoor, battery-tended, climate-controlled spots for you in one of the most secure earthquake and fire-safe buildings that exist in Playa Vista, California, right by LAX and the beach. So hit me up, and that's all for us tonight. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally something to say. We're back on, what's the 24th? No, do we do a show this week?
2 days. We're at Road and Track.
Oh, we have Road and Track coming in Wednesday afternoon, and then we have Alana Shear coming in Thursday. So it's a big show, a big week of shows. That's all.